I love to hear the sound of that applause because it lets me know it's time for Outlaw Radio again. Welcome to Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday evening. Outlaw Radio, American Confusion. Oh my God, this is going to be a great conversation. I already know. I love it when I have a great conversation. Foundational Black Americans stand up. 414 Negroes stand up, stand firm, stand on business. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio. I am the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer. Also known in some circles as the world-class smartass. Wherever you at, give it up for yourself. Give it up for who you are. What's your nickname? What they call you in your family? Say it out loud and then give yourself one of these. Not alone. Got my co-pilot with me, my co-conspirator, my brother from another mother. Dr. Carter, how you doing tonight, man? What's going on?
Yes, sir. I'm all right. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture, teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama! There go the sea boss,
man! What it do, man? What it do? How you feeling tonight? How you feeling tonight, my brother?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Ready to see what this show got to offer tonight.
It's always something, right? It's always something. It's always something. Y'all hit like, hit share, hit follow, do whatever you have to do. We don't really ask for a whole lot. All we really ever ask is for you just to share it, right? Like, so. But if you want to, get in a little bit deeper, there's a phone number attached to the show, which is 262-202-5131. It's on the bottom of the screen, and I never know if that's too small for y'all to see. So once again, it's 262-202-5131. Now, the craziest thing about my show, and it's one of those things that, like I say, every now and then I'm a cheerleader for foolishness, is that we have this chat room. And so even if you don't want to call in, you can get in the chat room. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And we're live on my personal government Facebook. But then there's the Outlaw Radio page. So however you're seeing the show, man, just share the shit. That's all I'll be saying. Share the shit. Case in point with the chat room, I always like to show you that first person who comments is Jesse Paris, and it's all caps, so he's yelling. Peace, outlaws from the my high income and being mass deported city, frontline black news, the revolutionary agenda, and Shabaka's black experience enhanced. Hashtag, I am not your enemy. I'm really not your enemy, but I realize sometimes people choose you to be, I wouldn't say enemy, but adversary. You know what I mean? And sometimes you end up in a competition with somebody that you didn't even know existed. I didn't know we was competing. I was just living my life. But check this out. Mondays and Wednesdays, this is what we do. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is Outlaw Radio. This is American Confusion. I want to talk to my people about right now, if you live in America, regardless of your status, you really don't know what the fuck is going on. Kamar, you see so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
You almost got to stop and say, wait, hold on. What the fuck is going on? Okay?
Right.
I'm going to expand on that and expound on that on a whole bunch of different levels, but I wanted to kind of set the tone for the show tonight, because if you right now are an American citizen and you have it figured out, like you understand it, please call in. Please call in. Please call in. Share the knowledge, because the one thing I've learned, Kamar, about this is you don't know what you don't know. Have you ever thought about that?
Right.
You don't know what you don't know.
Hey, look, I said that in one of my videos.
Okay.
Because you really don't. You know what I mean? Remember, I think we mentioned it on the show one night, and I was like, you know what I mean? You got to be smart enough to be able to listen to somebody, because you never know what you don't know. You know what I mean? How can you know what you don't know? You would know it. you know what I'm saying?
I'm finna kill it. You gotta be smart enough to be dumb. Think about that.
Yeah, right. Straight up. You know what I mean? Hey, look. Hey, I got another one. A smart nigga can play dumb, but a dumb nigga can't play smart.
Can't play smart. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Be the smart nigga.
Right. Hey, man, listen. This is the kind of platform this is. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please share the show. I hope you hear something that is enlightening or educational, or sometimes it's just funny. But I want you to have a good time. Now, if you're a normal Outlaw supporter, I ask that you share the show. We had a show last week. It had over 1,000 views. I don't want to even try to explain to y'all how good that made me feel, because it might be borderline freaky, Kamar. I don't want to tell you. I got so personal when I said, oh shit, we don't have a marketing department. I don't even I should be way better at marketing our show and promoting it, but I'm not a promoter. You know what I mean? So when 1,000 people watch our show, to me, it means something. I know, brothers, I'm on YouTube.
That means something all the time, because it ain't many people that you know what I mean, what that happened to. You know what I'm saying? That ain't easy. You don't just post something and you know what I mean, you get 1,000 views.
Well, some people do because they spend money. There's a way to do this.
Well, that's different. That's
right.
different.
That's different.
You talking about organic. You talking about organic.
Ooh,
you know
what I mean? That's the word I wanted to use. Organic. Organic. Yeah. I love that. Love that.
Yeah, we talking organically. That's the best. You
right.
know what I mean? That's I'm gonna tell you, man. I'll be appreciative every time I get a video that go get 1,000 views or more. You know what I'm saying? It get 500. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? And even that is a lot. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you why. If you can get 50 people in a room to hear you speak, that is the start of a movement.
Yeah.
If you can get 100, you're doing damn well. If you get up to 500, you moving, you making it happen. If you get 1,000, you official.
You got motion now.
we gonna need a bigger venue, as they say, right?
We gonna need some wheels.
Right.
Put this thing on some wheels.
Hey, it's Cooley. How you doing, my brother? How you doing? He said, "What's up, fellas? I'm in the building."
What up, cuz?
He says, "Adversary or free thinking." He said, "I learned that in the Landmark Forum." Ever heard that, Kev? Adversary or free thinking? Hold on, let me get through all the questions before I answer that. He said, "No, that don't know everything. Smart nigga can play dumb, but a dumb nigga can't play smart." He's echoing you, Kamar.
That's right.
He said, once again, it's a fine line between brilliance and insanity. Absolutely. Have you ever walked it? You shared it on Twitter. Appreciate you, brother. I don't even put it on Twitter. Like, we could do Twitter. I stopped putting it on Twitter. He said, congrats on one. Yeah, I mean, that's not a big deal. But we've done that before. We got shows way over that. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? And you know, especially back in the days, Kamar, every time we turned this thing on, it was 1,300 or better. Mm-hmm. But things kind of reset and changed. And so you just want to work your way back to it. He said, you do a good job. Hold on, let me go back to Jesse. He said, you do a good job of sharing. I only share on Facebook, though. Like, I don't, man, I have an editing service now. I got so many clips of this show broken down. My only issue now is I don't know which one to put out first. because I want that first one to be fire. So I
Put them
listen.
all out. Hey, listen, man. One of the first. This is one of the first rules without one of the first rules without saw a lot of content creators say, just put it out, put them out. Okay. You know what I mean? Because see, the thing is consistency. So if you got a lot of them, that's cool. You know what I mean? Run a few of them a day, 3, 4 of them a day. You know what I'm saying? And get them in rotation. And see what happens is the algorithm. Hey, check it out though. What happens is the algorithm gonna understand that you're a content creator and it's gonna push the videos out more. You know what I'm saying? Because it see what you're doing repetitiously.
Well, I understand editing. I just learned editing via analog. I was in school when we had to take a VHS cassette and do what they call black it out. And then the machine had the big knobs on it, the jog shuttle, and you had to look at it like I learned how to edit like that, but I still understand the principalities. And some of these clips that I have, I can do some altering, but I haven't figured out how to twerk it yet. So I guess that's what I'm waiting on, because I need transitions, I need all kinds of things.
Hey,
but they've come out nice.
Holla at me, man. I'll see if I know something that may be able to help you.
Yeah, I'm paying a service. We'll chop.
Oh, you paying the service? Yeah,
we'll chop. I'm telling you, what they give me is like, okay, now we've done this. Now do what you do to it and put it out. It's very easy, but I'm just like, okay, because I listen to the clips. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, then let's holler, man. We can put some wheels on this thing, man.
I'm always, man. I'm an evil genius, man. I'm always working.
Yeah, let's put some wheels on this thing.
He said I'm banned from everything but Twitter and YouTube. He said on Facebook you do a good job of sharing. You get it in all the groups. Yeah, the groups that I have identified with a lot of groups. You know, I can't even name them all. Shamefully, I'm gonna have to start giving them shout outs because I am shared in a lot of groups. He said, right, Kamara consistency. Earl Henning, welcome to the show. So what to do, my brothers? Chocolate milk, love us, Outlaw family, hashtag fuck DT. We talked about being confused. America, you have elected a very divisive, old, rich white man as your president. It's going down worldwide. So much so that I'm like, man, I'm in the habit now, Kamar. I'm just literally posting it because the People's News Network is our sister group. I'm literally round the clock posting articles about his executive orders and what he's doing. But I wanted to take it a little bit deeper because on the show the other night, someone referenced Elon Musk. And I said, I hadn't really paid much attention to him because I was kind of looking at Donald. But then when I've observed what he's done in terms of he's dismantling all of those, entities within the government that Donald Trump wants to get rid of. He's the bag boy. Like he's second in command, right? But his origin is that he's from South Africa by way of Canada. So the latest thing that came out this week was Donald Trump calling out South Africa. South Africa, right? When you hear that name, what you immediately envision is apartheid for a very long time. Nelson Mandela, the struggles that I won't say black, but African, native South Africans faced against these white people, Boers that became somehow, some way African. And so there was a secession of power. When Nelson Mandela came home, things had to change. Nelson Mandela was elected as the president, as the first, I guess, voted for in some kind of sort of democratic way, because prior to that, they weren't even allowed to vote. They were living in shanties and cardboard boxes in Africa. Africans living in Africa under the thumb of white interlopers who call themselves South Africans, Boers, if you will. So now this whole thing, once Nelson Mandela comes home, and that's a different show because we start to talk about what Winnie Mandela's wife had going on. But over the years, there's been this thing where you've heard that South Africans, native South Africans, were seizing land violently, if need be, going into these farms and saying, nah, this is our shit. Y'all got to move the fuck around. And if y'all don't, ass is going to get beat, shit's going to get burnt. So Elon Musk is from there, but he's looking at this thing saying, man, white supremacy was rocking hard when apartheid was running this country. All of a sudden, these niggers got this back, and now we have to try and figure out how to go back and protect these white South Africans from these native Africans coming in, taking their land. So Trump says, no more benefits for you. He cuts off South Africa. And at first you might think, well, that's good, right? Because South Africa's bad. Well, South Africa's president is a native African. Black people have gotten to the point over there where they're back in positions of power. Is it perfect? No. Is it a utopia? No. But the South African president, the only reason I don't have his name is because I can't say it. It's a black dude. I'm sorry. He's not black. He's an African. He's saying to Donald Trump, you got your own problems in America. You need to stay out of South African business. We don't come over there. We don't got nothing to say about y'all. Y'all got all kinds of issues. Okay? So I was looking at this and I said, man, so Musk is really looking at South Africa not because of any kind of human rights violations, but because the apartheid system as it once existed, which he is descended from, no longer exists. When the last time you heard an American president say anything about what was going on in Africa? This continent, first of all, Africa is not a country. It's a continent. And for a very long time, it's been dysfunctional as a result of mass colonialism. Okay? We talked about it the other night. Civil wars, Rwanda, the Tutsis, and you're talking about African warlords who are, it's crazy business. America never took the time to go in there ever and trying to straighten that out. Maybe they did some military interventions or they concentrated some. There's this money now that's allocated, USA Aid. And I listened to Roland Martin talking with the individual. It's a brother who I guess he's a brother. He's been involved in this USA Aid thing for 40 years. And he was explaining that this is the soft side of foreign relations because we don't go in with military action. We go in with money and funding so we can, try and get villages fresh water and, try to fight the AIDS epidemic because South Africa had a very bad AIDS epidemic. But Musk is like, nah, we putting even y'all on notice. Now, if we switch up, we go back to they are now, because America's always supported Israel and the Jews, the Jewish people. And if you look at what they actually did was they took land from the Palestinians who they said, this is our holy land, right? That's what they did, right? That's what this whole war is about. But you're against Africa because Native Africans are going back saying, give us our land back. But we as America have supported Israel for 50 to 60, maybe 75 years. All right. It's the same kind of thing. But Trump is now saying, we won't take over Gaza. America won't take Gaza. He says all blew up anyways. It ain't nothing but ruins, people living like savages. And he kept calling them unlucky. He kept saying they're just unlucky. I'm like, no, they got bombed. Wait a minute. This is not, what does luck have to do with this? But he's saying, no, America, we'll take Gaza. Basically what he's saying, Jesse, I see you. We're just gonna make that shit into like another Disney World. Like we'll come in. He said, America, we'll come in. We'll clean up all the ruins. We'll get the bombs that fell that didn't detonate. We'll put all those unfortunate people who are unlucky. We'll find somewhere for them to go. And I'm looking at Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, and I'm saying, you ain't gonna say nothing, cuz? He said shit. So as an American, you like, hold the fuck on. Tariffs on every surrounding country. We in Israel now in their business. We are in goddamn South Africa. What the hell is going on?
Hey, remember I told you a while back, I said, man, one thing for sure, two for certain. It's all every day is something else with this motherfucker in office. It's something else that we'll be tripping off of. That's how it was the last time. You know what I mean? Some of it be funny too. You know what I mean? The shit be hilarious. The shit he say, like, oh my goodness, man. But then some of it not so funny too.
Some of it's so intentional and pointed. I want to talk because I got a wire that's loose. Come on, I want you to talk about Wellness Our Way and how that went, because I got to step away and fix this wire so we can keep this show going. So just talk about Wellness Our Way for a second.
Well, it was dope. You know what I mean? We had some people come out. Yeah, pardon and expungement, I meant. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the pardon and expungement class. So, you know what I mean? This brother, man, Doyle Spruer, he's amazing, man. He been getting work in. He been getting that work. You know, we got getting results. I'm going through it right now, working on my felony, getting that out. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely gonna get to it. That was that. But you know what I mean? But again, make sure y'all come to the House of Vitality. Your immune system is breaking down. Everybody's. You know what I mean? You want to make it strong. You get a little sick, you want to breeze right through it. You know what I'm talking about? You want to breeze right through it. So build your immune systems, eat better. Watch out, stop eating so much dairy and sugar. That shit's killing your immune system. And so is negative people. You know what I mean? Negative people break down your immune system. I'll tell you how. You know what I mean? When your body produces stress, or when you get stressed, your body produces cortisol from stress to soothe you. You know what I mean? But the problem is too much cortisol over a long period of time. It's bad for you. It kill your immune system. It could give you high blood pressure, arthritis, all type of different stuff. You know what I mean? From too much cortisol over a long period of time, your body start aching. You get gut issues, all kind of stuff. But yeah, so make sure you come up to the House of Vitality. I'll get you together. You know, you got questions, I got answers. If I don't got the answers, I'll point you in the right direction. You know what I'm talking about? If I don't got it, I know somebody who do. You know what I mean? If you're looking for something, come find me. I may be able to help you find it. Look like the Negro Whisperer is back.
Yeah, sometimes I
quit running my mouth. So.
No, I just, because sometimes I'll be looking around like, oh, I should have hooked that up, like, because I got different interfaces and different plugs. So sometimes I just prefer how it goes if certain things are hooked up a certain way. So pardon me. Jesse says I covered the executive orders on Frontline Black News. White YouTube channel. He said he's a Boer, a white Afrikaner, apartheid in Tanzania, aka South Africa. He said Elon Musk, this is Jesse Paris. Elon Musk considers an African American. Okay. He says precisely, Kev, you know the history of Tanzania since Mandela. He said the president's name is Ramaphosa. I want to say it correctly, Kamar. Ramaphosa.
Who?
This is the president of South Africa as we speak.
Okay.
Cyril Ramaphosa. Jermaine Anderson, how you doing down there in Shreveport, Louisiana? He said Biden did. He said he gave Angola, aka Mutumba, $2 billion on his way out. He said it's a lot of money in that ground out there in Africa. This is Earl Henning. Elon Musk got rich from apartheid and wealthy from Tesla. Man, shit, I missed a lot of comments. Let me keep going. Kamar. Damn, my shit is said Gaza will be a resort. Scratching my damn head. They stole that land from the Philistines and Cushites. I don't have too much pity for them. They're occupiers too. Yeah, I think he's talking about the Palestinians. Dion, how you doing, my brother? He said that's typical America. Earl Henning, he said suicide bomber. Jesse said never a dull moment with the dump. Mark Ross, how you doing, man? Mark was with us on Monday. Had a great show. I had a good time. looking forward to Mark coming back, just to get into the groove of what we do with Outlaw Radio. Shout out to you, Mark. I think he has a podcast. I got to share his link. Jesse Bear says, as in human shit. We want to make that perfectly clear. He's quoting Chewbacca. Said, right, Kamar. Great advice. Said, welcome back, Kev. LOL. I was just because, man, if you seen my studio, I have a certain way I like for shit to look. If it doesn't look a certain way, I'm gonna move it. Because I'll be like, that might fall and knock that out, and then that'll cause a bigger problem. So it's just studio etiquette. Ace Cooley, how you doing? He said, what's going on? There's currently a war going on between global elites and the billionaire patriotic nationalists. Damn, patriotic nationalists. Jermaine Anderson said all these airplanes crashing. Said so many planes malfunctioning. Jesse said is considered, I think he meant he's an African American. He may consider himself one. Jermaine Anderson is saying down in Shreveport, Louisiana, poor water conditions and crimes against the people. Jesse said he got to go back and listen to that whole show with Mark. Jermaine said, dropping my Cash App displaced currently after being illegally forced out of my rental unit. Rent was paid and all. Please share. He's putting his Cash App out there. Dion, the phone line is always open to you. You know that. I want to get back to the whole South African thing, Kamar, because this is where the proverbial rubber meets the road, in that now that we are delineating, and this is delineation movement, and we are foundational Black Americans, the question becomes, are we at war with the diaspora?
No, I doubt that we at war.
Are we against? Because okay, so those individuals in South Africa, like I said, are native South Africans. You heard how many times I hear what
you're saying. I'm just saying I don't think that means we against them.
I don't know. Okay, so there we go. So you're answering the question. Okay, right. So I wanted to say, when I was talking about South Africa, I kept saying Black, but you notice I kept cleaning it up, saying no, Native Africans, where Soweto, Johannesburg, wherever they're from, they are Native Africans. All right. I don't, because I'm delineated. And I kind of just wanted to really reinforce the narrative that because we've chose to self-identify does not mean we are against anybody else.
Right.
We haven't lost our love for the continent of Africa because we understand that somewhere, somehow, some way, we are from there. Look at us. Look at us.
Hey, and let's be honest though. I think I see where you're going with this.
Okay.
Let's be honest, right?
Uh-huh.
What can we do to help them besides raise awareness? If we help, you know what I mean? Like, what can we do? It ain't like we could grab our guns and go to war over here for them. You know what I mean? It's just like how we talk about, like, with the Mexican demonstration, right? Them our kids too. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean we pick our guns up and go fight for them. Wasn't no motherfucker fighting for us.
I'm glad you said that, because that is actually such a great correlation between the conversations that we've had on the show about our perspective towards what Latinos are going through right now.
Right.
Like, there's no hate.
We love them. You know what I mean? Pray for them, all that. We wish the best, you know what I'm saying? But shit, wasn't nobody there when our people was getting sprayed in the streets and bit by dogs and all that shit. And even still today, you know what I mean? The egregious treatment we get treated with now. Ain't no motherfucker standing with us. We got our own fish to fry.
I find that I'm often put in a position in which I almost have to defend FBA. And I understand that comes with the territory because it's something that's new. And I don't think we've ever really discussed lineage to this degree, Kamar. I don't think we've ever really said, who are we? Really? It's not enough for you to say, y'all are people from Africa who was brought over here to be slaves. That is not a feasible description of us because you are leaving out a very critical part of it, which is the Americanization of those slaves. Some say indoctrination. I say Americanization. I don't speak in passive terms. To be indoctrinated is a passive state. You ain't indoctrinating nothing in me, right? You're not doing that.
Right.
But
I accept the information if I want it.
Right. So when I say Americanization, it's almost like, okay, it's over years and years and years, you understand how things work. You're shown how this system goes over here on this ground. It's a very unique thing. And although there were other individuals who didn't come here necessarily as slaves and in chains, they came here under some other, because Italians have been discriminated against. Irish people have been discriminated against. Scottish people, Jewish people, indigenous Americans. Everybody has.
And they all handle their own business.
Because they were all allowed to gain this state of solidarity.
Right.
Their solidarity was never intentionally interrupted. Ours was intentionally interrupted by the United States government. Case in point, J. Edgar Hoover saying the worst thing that could ever happen to this country is if them motherfuckers get together. Fuck all the other minorities.
Right. The whole economy be fucked up.
That's a black messiah.
They will have to do everything we tell them to do. Change this law, put this law in effect. You know what I'm saying? If this happened, this gonna happen. If we got together, that's what it would be.
So the point became, we got to keep these people subjugated. And it plays out all the way through every attempted eradication of us, whether it be chattel slavery, whether it be Jim Crowism, whether it be the crack epidemic, right? To the point where now we get to straight up economics. Now we have reinvented the wheel in terms of discrimination with gentrification, because where are they short at? They're short money. So gentrification basically says if you don't got the bread, you can't be here. Right. It's not because you're black.
Right.
It's because your median income is half of ours. You got to go.
You can't afford to live here.
Right. Come on. Like, you have money, it'll be fine. Right. It'll be fine. Right. So, but their attempted eradication has failed on every level. And the whole time they was subjugating us, all we did was contribute to this society. It ain't as fun in this country as it would, or as it has been without us.
Right.
There's a certain savoir-faire that would not exist without us. Well, who are you? We are the real Americans. We are the foundational Black Americans who built this country, who fought in every war, who are the biggest consumers, who have voted in every election. Right? We marched to the
I'm laughing because I feel you sound like you practiced that. Like
I didn't, man. I promise you, Kumar.
You can get in front of a podium and
Hey, this is all organic. This is all organic. I promise you. I promise you. I'm trying to explain to my people why the delineation movement is so important. I'm not a follower. I don't jump on the latest trends and the latest fads. I pretty much walk to the beat of my own drum my entire life, good and bad, Kamar, because sometimes it's been bad.
That's right.
Sometimes you fucked up, right? Yeah, right. But so when I say the movement to delineate and self-identify in a climate in which everybody else is identified except you. Right. You go with the flow. Oh, he's a cool white boy. You can come to the cookout. Oh, this Mexican cool. He can come to the cookout. Oh, this white dude's cool. This Italian dude's cool.
Hey, Kev, but you know what? Let me on that. I want to build on that with you. You know that comes from our natural nature, the nature of Black people too. We got to understand that. You know what I mean? Like, we are a loving people. You know what I mean? Traditionally, we are a peaceful people. We don't want no trouble. You know what I mean? We accepting. You come on in. You know what I'm saying? You think about even you speed it up some years, like nowadays. If a Black person bring a white person home and say, "Hey, this is my mate, this is my wife," a Black family would be more accepting than the white family.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's just in our nature. You know what I mean? It's where we come from. And then you look at the other side, where they come from a dark space. It wasn't like fruit and shit didn't grow on the trees. These motherfuckers was hungry, eating whatever the fuck they could. You know what I mean? Scratching and clawing to live. You know what I'm saying? So we are naturally like that. It's just that we have to gain this discernment to understand what's best for us and be able to go off that.
I will even say, kind of like agreeing with what you're saying, is that's why we're so accepting, right? Black people got a saying, don't start no shit, won't be none.
No shit. That's right.
That is most Black people are. So that's why the narrative of this crime, they're savage, they're criminal. Listen, that is a small element of our community that, unfortunately, because most of us live below the poverty line in Milwaukee, and what do you do with poor people? You put them in the same area. So what you're doing is you've got geographically in Milwaukee an area probably that's 30 miles, but it got all of the poorest people living within 2-3 miles of each other.
Right.
What do you think is going to happen? And so you run with that. See, we talked about skewing statistics the other night on the show. Y'all share this show, please. Share this show. It's Outlaw Radio, American Confusion. Get in this chat room. Hit this line, 262-202-5131. Jesse says delineation in full effect and everybody else is losing their minds. He said, we're not at war with the diaspora. The diaspora at war with FBAs. Descendants of American slaves, freedmen. We always showed them love, and all they show us is malcontent. According to the out of Africa theory.
Hey, and then we also gotta take a look at the media, how the media portray us over here too.
Right. Which confuses some people. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So we gotta understand that they taught. Other Black people around the world they taught not to trust us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So like you said, it ain't us against them. It's them that got beef with us.
That's where I'm going, because for a long time, there's been a lot of heat coming off the end of that couch.
Right.
I've heard everybody criticize us. Okay. I'm going back to the chat room. Jesse says we done enough for all these buffer and tether groups, Kamar. Jermaine Anderson says justice for all the Black men who died in police custody. He said, hold your own. This is Jesse talking to the Mexicans. Hold your own chalupa, Jorge. He says, Max Kumar. He said, me too. I have to defend. He said he has to defend FBA, descendants of descendants of American slaves, freedmen as well. Said we've endured oppression for over 100 years. Lord have mercy. Ethnogenesis of those slaves, public indoctrination centers, aka public schools, are responsible for that. Can't blame the public school, because we just talked about what the real value in a public school system is. It's reinforcement, because this is education supposed to start in the home. What makes a mom think if you took a child and made him or her learn, or showed him or her how to walk, how to eat, how to use the bathroom, how to speak, What makes you think that now you're going to be able to send this individual off to a building where it's a bunch of people that they don't know and they're going to finish the job? Their job is reinforcement. Your job is to educate as a parent. You got to twist it. Their job is to reinforce. Okay, I'm working with you on your reading. What the teacher doing? He or she should be reinforcing it. You should be on the same page. If you're a parent who cares about what your child is learning, go up to the school and look at the curriculum. Talk to the teachers. Oh, I shouldn't have to do that. Why? You got to take your car to the shop to change the oil, no matter how much you pay for it. Why you think it ain't no maintenance? Ace Cooley said, we ain't at war with anyone. They are just using the FBA going out to support. Unfortunately, we have realized they do not support us. Our ancestors went out and fought for civil rights, but everyone else benefited from it, including white women. Now everyone shifts on us because of negative propaganda for the very governments that have colonized their countries. From the very governments that have colonized their countries. He said those individuals have been compensated. Jesse. Jermaine said Martin Luther King Jr. fought for equality and freedom for all people. Today we are still experiencing the racism. I changed my view of Martin Luther King. I did. I don't think Martin Luther King was fighting for everybody. I think Martin Luther King was fighting for black people. And I think that's why they killed him. I think when he looks at it and says this war in Vietnam makes no sense. We have serious issues in this country with poverty. It got away from let's sing a gospel song and take a bended knee. It got into let's look at the policy of this. Let's look at the legislative nature of this. He died in Memphis trying to help sanitation workers, black men. And if you don't know the whole story, you would find out that there were 2 black men who were killed in the back of a garbage truck because it was raining and they were on a route and they couldn't get shelter anywhere because none of the white people would allow them that. So they got in the back of the garbage truck and the machine went off and killed them both. That's what drew him to Memphis. He was down there for workers' rights. It had extended past sitting at a counter trying to eat in a restaurant. It had grown, it had evolved. And that's why they said enough. That's why they said enough. Jesse said solidarity of racist, white supremacists, anti-black, hated under the banner of whiteness. Damn, the chat room's popping. Jermaine said, yes, we are experiencing housing discrimination in America, poverty-stricken neighborhoods. He said, fear of a black messiah, that's their worst fear. Retribution and revenge, that's Jesse. Damn, Jesse and Jermaine lighting it up. Said, rest in peace, Nelly Fuller Jr., hashtag Onco, hashtag codified, hashtag produce justice. Families are living below the poverty line, says Jermaine Anderson. Families can't even afford to live in the nice areas of cities, yet are forced to live in crime-ridden areas. Are you forced to live there? Are you forced to live in a crime-ridden area, Kamar? Kamar, are you forced? Well, and hold on, before you even answer. Before you founded the House of Vitality and Vitality had taken off, we were doing this show. Do you feel like at that point you were forced to live anywhere?
Nope, because well, I say at one point, I feel like I may have been a little bit because I had to go somewhere.
Right, you got it right.
Now this is where. now let me tell you my mindset though. This is me though, right? When I left my daughter's mother house, I left everything there. You know what I mean? I took a few outfits with me and I hit it. I went down over on 24th and Finn. You know what I mean? On that one way right there. They was calling it ground zero. You know what I'm saying? The first night I was there, man, this young nigga got hit up about 18 times with an AK on the corner. You know what I'm saying? It was wild over there. But anyway, I moved over there with 2 of my cousins. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I knew I wasn't going to stay there. You know what I mean? I'm finna save this money up.
I came over there. I came through there a bunch of times.
You know what I mean? I'm going to save this money up. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get myself up out of here. You know what I mean? Put my coins together and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I got a better spot. You know what I mean? And then after that, I got another spot. You know what I mean? But the idea is to always get better. no matter what you're doing, the idea is to always get better. I don't give a fuck how good you got it or how bad you got it. The idea is, how do I get better? What's my next step?
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Man, listen, I tell people now, the young people now, if you get a job, don't stop looking for a job. Look for a better one while you're working that one.
Instead of complaining about how bad it is and staying there.
Right. The objective is to figure out how to get out of there.
And the point of, I tell people this all the time, you're going to find other jobs when you're working. When your ass out of work, that's when you can't find a job.
It's easier to find a job when you got a job.
When you're working. Right. So he says, replace this current system with a system of justice guaranteeing that no one is mistreated by the color of their skin. Those who need the most help get it in a constructive manner in all 9 areas. I don't know, because once again, that sounds like utopia. And I don't know that will ever exist. I don't know that there'll ever be a society where everything is fair. Because the fact of the matter is, he who has the money makes the rules. My issue is, if you free up opportunities so more people can have some money, then I think things will be more equal. It's not about, everything will be just love. No, just open up the opportunity. Just say, okay, let's let everybody have a fair shot.
It's always going to be a difference. Some people got more drive than others.
Yeah, people are different, right? Somebody gonna innovate. Somebody gonna hustle harder. Somebody gonna grind. Somebody gonna have that it factor where they just gonna pop. And you're gonna be like, I've been doing this 20 years.
They just got it.
That's how you get a Jesus Christ or a Tupac Shakur, right? Some people just have that, right? Like, it's just like, yo, like this cat right here is something else. TR Art is in the chat room. How you doing, my sister? How you doing, my sister? Hey. Good evening, Kevin Kamar and the Outlaw family. Let me see what we got here. Let me see what we got. We got just Jesse and
now don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I feel bad for families and people that's in bad positions like that. But I just, like I said, just always think about doing better. What's my next step?
Well, okay, this might sound a little bad, right? I have an uncle. My uncle, shout out to my Uncle Johnny. He told me this one time when I was very young. He said, and I was probably about 15 years old, Kamar, and he said, boy, and this is what we were talking about with academics trying to make an excuse, but this is my uncle. This is my mother's brother, right? And so I'm his nephew, and he says to me, boy, you fucking. And I say, I was about 14, 15. I said, nah, Uncle, I ain't doing nothing. He said, bullshit. I can tell how you moving. Or you fucking something. I said, no, Uncle, I don't mess around. Because in my mind, I was thinking, I didn't want to tell my mama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He said, boy, let me tell you something.
This nigga might tell.
Right, you might be a snitch, right? You might be a rat. He said to me, let me tell you something, boy. Don't you ever forget this. If you ain't fucking nothing, you need to be trying to fuck somebody. If you ain't fucking nobody, you need to be trying to fuck somebody. That's what he told me. I said, what? He said, if you ain't fucking nobody, you need to be trying to fuck somebody. So that means, what it meant to me was, if I ain't got nothing going on, I need to be trying to make something happen for myself. Right? I don't know if many people would have received that message in that fashion at that young of age, but I just took it as that. Like, he's just saying, if you ain't got it popping, you need to be trying to get it popping, as opposed to just sitting there on your ass. Like, well, it is what it is. Earl, he said, bro, what about the parents that can't read? See, now we have a bigger problem, because
I think
you're talking about generational illiteracy.
Well,
shit.
Hey, in that case, you know what I mean? In that case, it's to learn how to read. If that's what's holding them up, the next step, like I said, to figure out what's your next step. If not knowing how to read is holding you back, your next step is learning how to read.
Yeah. If you ain't fucking somebody, or you ain't fucking nobody, you got to try to figure out
what's the next step. Like, I think people expect shit to be fixed overnight. You know what I mean? Expect their life to change overnight, or one thing to happen, or God to come swoop in and everything is all right now. But no, you got to put some work in. You got to make some decisions. You know what I mean? Because your decision is going to determine whether or not you win or lose.
Yeah, man. It's two things in
I
this
can give you
world.
the energy and the ideas, but you got to accept it.
It's two things in this world, and this is one of the things I used to tell young men when I coached high school football. You might not be the biggest dude, you might not be the fastest dude, you might not be the tallest dude, but it's two things you can absolutely control. One is your attitude and one is your effort. Those are two things you have total control over. But when you think about what that means, those are the biggest two things. Your attitude and your effort. Because usually one affects the other. If you got a bad attitude, your effort's off.
If your attitude bad, you ain't gonna be able to think straight
your
to make the
effort's
right
off.
decision.
Right. You ain't even trying.
Everything off.
You ain't even trying. Dion, what's poppin', man?
Nobody. Hey, gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
We're very good. We're delineating.
I was listening. Well, I was hearing you talk about it. I got to wait till I get on the other side of no man's land to call you and shit. But yeah, I was listening, just listening to this, keeping up with this silly motherfucker that's in the White House. And I was listening, talking about over there with the Palestinians and all that. But, one thing, I watched this movie, I watched this series. And I think you say you like it and you have watched it. But I like to watch it, though. It's called Game of Thrones.
Oh, I love Game of Thrones. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Me too.
White on white crime.
Yeah.
It's like a white wire.
Yeah.
The wire for white people.
Yeah. And it's just typical white people. White people have this conqueror's mentality and this attitude. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all it is, basically, what typical white people doing when Trump was talking about taking over Palestine. And who was that? Who was that said the Palestinians? See, I don't know, man, because people be. I'm one of these type of people, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, he didn't say Palestine. He said the Gaza Strip.
Oh, okay. Because Israel was technically Palestine when the U.S. and Great Britain took over that region of the area. Because if you go back biblically, you will see that was Palestine. That's why the Palestinians are so angry about it, because Israel was just a small split. And then when America and Great Britain intersected themselves within that shit, and then they grew it bigger and basically gave them, it was really equal. Then the Jews got greedy and just started taking more and more and more, and just gave them
hold on,
like a city big as Milwaukee.
According to them, biblically, they can stake their rights that was the place. That's where Jerusalem was. So both sides. Well, no, both sides. The Jews had a biblical claim that that's where Jerusalem was, right? And on the cross, when Jesus was crucified, they had a sign that said "King of the Jews." Right, and he was born in Jerusalem, right?
That is odd.
So now they both had a claim to this land. What happened was they were supported by the allies in saying no, because where else were they going to go? Because I've even asked people about, well, how do we end up with European Jewish people?
Yeah, them not the original Jews.
Well, no, they are. What I was told was they are the Ashkenazi Jews, which are a different kind of. There's supposed to be many different tribes of Jewish people, and some people say Black people are one of those tribes as well. So, but they were supported by the United States of America and the Allies as a result of the Holocaust. Because where were you going to put these people? You weren't going to send them back to. You weren't going all those Jewish people that you rescued from concentration camps. You weren't going to put them back in Germany. So where do we put them? So they end up in Israel, which is basically we gave y'all, but we weren't even thinking about it because I don't even know how much the Palestinians had even been involved in World War I or II. So it's like, nah, they ain't got nothing. They ain't got no army like that. Boom. And this is why most Middle Eastern, quote unquote, Middle Eastern countries dislike Americans. People say they hate our freedom. No,
they do.
They hate how we've supported Jewish people.
Yeah, they do.
Because when we talk about we talk about the Crusades, which was Christianity against Muslims. That is the great, and Muslims whooped England, and they whooped their ass and sent them back. Hey, get your ass up out of here. So a lot of Middle Easterners, as we call it, which is basically northern Africa, north of Africa, that little, right, where the oil come from is what they really mean. they feel like, oh, these motherfuckers are Zionists. America's a Zionist country. They support the Jewish agenda. That's why they don't like us. That's why they don't like us.
And then the whole thing about that, America's just, then, like, I really want to talk to one of them more redneck Trump supporters. And be like, is he doing what he said he was going to do? Because, he about to gut the Department of Education. I heard, some people Head Start been gutted. Ain't no more Head Start. Ended Meals on Wheels. I mean, is he doing, y'all want him to put America first, but he's talking about going over here to Palestine.
Well, he's all over the place.
He's talking about some shit in South Africa.
Well, that's why, Dion, that's why the name of the show is American Confusion. Because nobody know what the hell is going on. There's some people who just learned the word tariff. They just learned what is that? How did that affect what Kamar, what we said, what that got to do with the price of tea in China? Literally, right?
That shit insane though. You know what I'm saying? And just to see what's going on, I mean, it's like
I'm merging calls.
It's like we basically laughing stock of America. Like, I mean, the laughing stock of the world.
I don't believe we are. I don't believe they laughing at us. I believe they scared and nervous. Now, I just brought Ewok in. I believe this is Ewok. Says, is this Ewok, Arizona?
No, this Ace, my dude.
Okay, I know you and Ewok are both in Arizona. What it do, Ace? How you doing tonight?
I'm all right, man. I'm listening to this. I mean, it's kind of interesting, but you're right. That this whole situation is to keep us confused. But essentially, this is once again. If you read my post from earlier, this is essentially what I said. It's a globalist fight. It's a white supremacy. It's a war within white supremacy. As far as keeping us confused, we sitting here running around with our head running around like a chicken with our head cut off, trying to figure out shit while we're being sabotaged everywhere. And the problem is, because we can't figure it out, we end up at war with each other.
Okay.
To this whole shit, really, I'm gonna keep it 100 and figure out who's pulling the strings. If you look at everything that's going on right now, okay, between these two parties, they don't give a fuck about us anyway. You mentioned Dr. King earlier, and you already know how I feel about the boule. I mean, but at the end of the day, the way he started this, he's a member of the boule. Basically, their job was to keep us in order for I'm gonna keep it 100, the Jewish, because they were the ones that were funding the black colleges. And still to this day.
Well, hold on, Ace, because we don't want to put misinformation. It wasn't just Jewish people, because you look at Carnegie and you look at Rockefeller and you look at all those super.
No, I get that.
Hold on. I'm just saying they actually funded a bunch of HBCUs, right? And they actually basically saved this country from the Great Depression. And there were certain concessions made. You're talking about these Fords, and you're talking about Carnegies and Rockefellers, and you're talking about Chase and all these dudes who had become Vanderbilt. They had become richer than the country. And at that point, they had become bigger than the country. The only way to get out of the Great Depression, and I know a lot of people talk about Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the New Deal, but there were deals made in which they said, okay, we'll help rebuild the infrastructure. Right. So then you get Franklin Delano, FDR, Delano Roosevelt, who says, okay, well, the New Deal is we're going to build buildings and bridges and things like that. But the individuals who control the steel, the individuals who controlled the oil that powered the machines, they had to be compensated for that to happen. But they built a lot of schools, and people talk about that the Rockefellers and Carnegie basically invented modern day public education. So we can't say
Who were
Jews,
these people though? These were white men, is what I'm saying.
but they weren't Jews. They weren't. You said Jews
But
built the
they are
school
part
system.
of it.
Well, the Jews
I hear
weren't.
what you're
The
saying.
Jews weren't in power at that point in this country. They weren't empowered yet. The Jews didn't really get empowered until after World War II. They didn't get empowered until the 50s when Israel was established, and then in America they were allowed to kind of corner law, medical, like the medical field, and numbers with accounting.
Right.
So, but when we're talking about the establishment of schools, we can't say the Jews built the schools, because I don't believe Rockefeller was a Jew.
That.
Okay, you said that, but
I'm not saying. I'm not listening. They funded a big part of it. Just what I'm saying. I said that to say this. I mean, even that, what you're saying is true. That's all. But these were still white men. We were still just a commodity. Understand what I'm saying to that? Basically, our best and our brightest. It doesn't. They don't go to us. They go to them. They are scouted out. Ask yourself, when did you hear about Barack Obama? When did anybody hear about Barack Obama before the presidency? You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying,
I don't even think during that time we were commodities yet. We were still stock. We were still basically like mules and cows.
What I'm saying.
So because we got to understand when America actually became empowered. It's post World War II with the emergence of the auto industry. One of the driving forces of the Industrial Revolution in the auto industry is the Great Migration of Black people from the South, who were the first Mexicans. Hold on, they were the first Mexicans to say, "We'll work for less. We'll work without those benefits." So white people who were up north first lost their jobs. Now I'm saying after that, once we got these jobs, what did we start doing? We started buying homes, purchasing automobiles.
Correct.
We started. So we then became a commodity post Great Migration. Once we got to the north and they gave us jobs. And I guess I think we're just disagreeing on the timeline. I guess that's where I'm at, because
we may be. What I'm saying is, I mean, essentially, I look at the Black Wall Street and shit like that, and how every time we get it, we start to get up. Because technically, truthfully speaking, after we were free, there wasn't no reason. They were afraid. There wasn't no reason we should be in position to be on top, because we were the one that knew all the tricks. I mean, once Mr. Gordon went to Oklahoma, initially he tried to open up Oklahoma to a bunch of white people. It didn't work out though; they were ignoring him. So he had to change his view and show his vision, where he's like, "Fuck it, we could do it," with our people. Essentially, the thing about Black Wall Street, it was the first to do a lot of things. The first Black billionaires, these people were the first to have fucking indoor plumbing.
There were no billionaires on Black Wall Street. There's no
millionaires, what I'm saying, man. You know what I mean.
Wilmington, North Carolina was before Black Wall Street.
I was just about to say they weren't even the first Black success.
Yeah, you're correct.
They weren't the first Black settlement.
Who fucked that up? Right, but that was still a sabotage.
Jealous ass white people.
That was still a sabotage.
Jealous ass white people.
Yeah, but when you look at a place like Milwaukee that has MLK Drive, which used to be 3rd Street, and on both sides of this street were Black businesses from our arrival to this city up until integration passes. And once integration is passed, we then abandon our own businesses. I tend to put less blame on the white man's sabotage. If we talk about the history, see, I love when Black people refer to Black Wall Street, because it was a great thing and it was a revolutionary thing. But the reality was it was rebuilt, and it was rebuilt to a higher standard. It was actually rebuilt to a point where it was at one point stronger than it had been. But the introduction of a freeway as well as integration is what killed it for good. So once again, you give away more power than is taken from you. You just don't realize it.
These people were afraid to come back there after that.
There were a lot of people who went back, though. There was a lot of Black businesses who went back.
Okay.
I mean,
what I'm saying all this, we're always sabotaging. And all that is, I mean, I agree with all of that, kid. But I'm talking We sabotaged by the country. We sabotaged by these Jewish motherfuckers.
Well, Claude Anderson said it ain't no such thing as racism, as competition for resources. Dr. Claude Anderson,
Correct.
right?
And we're always sabotaged.
Okay, but what game ain't rigged? Name a game that the opposition doesn't try to sabotage you. Ain't that their job to keep you from succeeding?
I mean,
now,
course,
are you gonna complain or are you gonna play the game?
If you're gonna let me talk, I'm just saying.
Okay, go ahead.
At this point, what I'm saying is, when do we go on the offense? Because I've been on this. When do we go on offense? Matter of fact, they done showed us how to play the game dirty. They done showed us how to cut the head off the snake tactically, and we can't come together to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I see how to do it. I see where it is.
God,
it's just the unity. We just can't, because we get stuck under these two parties. We get stuck under this Divine Nine bullshit.
Well, see, that's what I was just finna say to you when you say, when do we come together? Because you referenced them as the boule, which they are, correct? The talented 10.
Correct. And you know
hold on. Now I'll let you talk. I just want you to give me some space.
You barely let me talk.
You just got done talking. How much longer do it need to be the Ace Cooley show, or what the fuck? I'm just saying.
Nah, go ahead.
Just let you talk. Did I not just let this man speak? If y'all don't think
talk, man, damn.
So when you referenced him as the boule, but you know what that actually is? That's a group of like-minded black people who get together and establish their own codes and culture, and they network with each other. They have solidarity. But you got other black people say, they the boule, they bad. They bad. Now, hold on.
Is that what it is?
Well, listen.
Because they're gatekeepers.
They do more community work than you do.
Okay, I hear you. But they also don't allow the people. There's people that want to get in.
Well, you should vet the candidates.
To better the whole goddamn.
You don't let everybody in. You don't let everybody ride with you. You let anybody get in your car?
No.
Okay, so what? They wrong?
But they have good intentions, and they like-minded, because there's more like-minded people out there than you know.
But you're the one who's saying we can't. But you are the one who's saying black people can't achieve that. And I'm telling you, we already have it there. And other black people say, well, that's bad. They the boule. That's bad for black people to be like that. They're unified. They're on one accord. They have events.
If you're another brother, you coming in, you got your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to come together with my people so we can uplift each other. But here's what's happening. You got these people, the other 6% that's there to keep us in line. They're paid to keep us in line. Not that all of them are like that. I'm not saying all of them are like that. You know what I'm saying? But our best and the brightest go to the white, because it's all white supremacy.
I disagree, because we just talked about the black boule. Now let me ask you this question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, and I promise you. Let me ask you a question. I promise you, I'm gonna let you answer it. Let me ask you a question. I've been approached by some Divine Nine organizations while I was in school, and I examined the process, and I could have gotten in several of them, right?
Why didn't you? The question.
Because that's not how I express my solidarity. That's not where I wanted to go, because I wanted to, but I come from a strong family. I come from a family that has solidarity. So that wasn't the deal. Now, my daughter is a Zeta. There's no devil worship. There's no anti-Jesus. I'm just, once again, let me give you your shot, because you said I didn't let you talk.
Go ahead.
And I'm saying, what she does, what they do is community service. They go into communities. They talk to young black women. They talk to other black women. They say, hey, come on with us. We have a powerful networking system. They had an event called the Boule. And I said, girl, what you going to? She took a picture with Big Daddy Kane and sent it to me. Like, Dad, Big Daddy Kane down here. Okay. So it's not a bad thing. We get intimidated. We get intimidated because they vet the candidates. Now I'm gonna give you a chance, because I don't want you to leave Outlaw Radio saying he wouldn't let me speak. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Y'all, welcome to the Ace Cooley Show.
Oh, man. No, I get what you're saying, but they gonna go where the money is, Kev. They gonna go where the money is. And then, like I said, as far as you didn't do it, I think we kind of like in that situation, but I think a brother should look out for another brother anyway. It shouldn't take some secret society or some college fraternity for me to have to be like, well, okay, you know what I'm saying? But if you got the qualifications to uplift and do positively in the community or be a part of my company, I want to. That's what these white people do. They go to their homies. They go to their homies, and that's the same shit we should be doing. Once again, I agree. We shouldn't be begging them for shit. That's the problem. That's the problem. At the end of the day, what's happening is our best and brightest get recruited. Look, I'm gonna ask a question. What do you think the Black Caucus is?
Do you want me to answer that? Or is that
are
you being facetious or?
What do you think? No, I want to know.
Do you talking about the Black Caucus in DC, the legislative Black Caucus? That's what you're talking about? Well, you got a group of individuals who are supposed to be representative from this party that are supposed to represent our best interests in DC.
Okay.
But that's not what it ultimately extends to, because once again, they vet the candidates. You don't get access to that room. I'm never mad at anybody for choosing a home team, right? And once again, so many of us chose to not get involved with the Boule, with the Divine Nine. They didn't tell me I couldn't get in. I told them no. I went to a bunch of Q parties. I drank Q oil, a party with the Kappas. I went to all their parties, and I said, nah, man, this ain't for me. But I'm different. I'm not the norm. I'm the exception to the rule. A lot of other brothers who wanted to get in, but they didn't have my same profile, so they didn't qualify. And if you don't qualify, you just OJ said if it don't fit, you must have quit. Right? So you can't.
Well, with all due respect, Kev, I feel like he's a pretty good guy. I feel like you doing right by life. You raising your kids.
Absolutely, and I didn't need them to do it. And you know who I chose? Right? I got with the Black Panthers. It didn't take me. I got with them because I feel like, all right, this is my frat. That's who I got with. And a lot of people came when we was deep at our height in Milwaukee. They came and wanted to be a part. They didn't fit the bill, so we didn't let them in. It's like LL said, you can't handle the whole weight. Skin need lotion, teeth need Colgate, right? Like you can't.
Every time and I'm glad you brought up Black Panther, because there's a lot of times, there's a lot of instances where we tried to, especially in the Black Panthers, the Deacons for Defense and whatnot. And what happens is they pay guys to infiltrate. Yeah. Where do you think these guys come from?
The same dudes who let the air out the football so Tom Brady could win the Super Bowl. Like it's competition. I'm saying, like, when I've never been in a game where the other side wasn't trying to beat me. And if they really wanted to win, they was doing everything they can. Now, hold on, let me bring Dion in, because I know Dion like shit. Now, I ain't getting to talk.
I would love to hear what Dion got to say. I love Dion. I ain't gonna lie. I love his views.
They keep it 1,000 and a million. Yeah. Like, I'm lost. I don't even know what the fuck we talking about no more. I ain't even lying to you. Like, I'm for real. I don't know. Like, I don't. Like, I can't even. And I've been listening. I went on Facebook. Well, hey, let me say this real quick. Rest in peace, Herb. Rest in peace, Herb Gotti.
Did he pass? Did he pass for real?
Yeah, he passed away. They said from a stroke.
Yeah.
And a brain hemorrhage, I think.
Yeah,
but
I
don't know, man.
Well, okay. Let me sum it up for you. What the discussion is? What prevents us from actually achieving solidarity and unity? And he said, well, they'll always come in and they'll always sabotage us. And I said, that is the nature of the beast. This is a competition for resources, but also pointed out some situations where we have solidarity and we have Black organizations who do good things, but a lot of us don't like them. We say, oh, fuck them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But that's far and few in between, right? Like, I do feel like like I know, Kev, you don't like to hear it, and I can't quote you on what you say. I can't quote you on what you say or whatever. But seriously,
that's
though,
how you know somebody's gonna lie on you, right? When they say
that slavery shit. That slavery shit fucked us up though, and it gave us division among one another. You know what I'm saying? And we can't get on the court.
Why do y'all think white people are so united? Why, when you looking at
they are though.
when you look, whoa. When you're
shit.
looking, listen, when you're looking at Democrats and Republicans, and you looking at judges and political figures who are white actively blocking what Trump is doing. To me, that's divisiveness. That's divided. Kamar, come on. Hold on, Kamar.
He breaking the law.
Let's get Kamar in. We got to bring Kamar in because he's just chilling. Kamar, you don't get to chill. Come on in the bullshit. Come on in.
I'm watching the show, man. I'm listening.
You own this show. You ain't just watching it. You own this shit. He said you already in it, man. He said, I'm just watching this shit. I love it. Listen, I got more room on my line. 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio, American Confusion, just like you see. It's American Confusion, right? Let me get the chat room because I want to keep them included. Jesse's agreeing when I was talking about the Ashkenazi, and he said Sephardic and Fulani Jews. Said, yes, the so-called Middle East. He walked in the building, he said those fake-ass Jews over there, 95% pure white.
Thank you.
He says they hate how we supported them Ashkenazi Jews. Notice it has Nazi in it. Wait, I thought Hitler hated the Jews. Interesting. Well, don't you think it's interesting that most Jewish rich people drive Mercedes Benzes? Now, if they can forget them motherfuckers and drive Mercedes Benzes, ain't that a bitch? Come on, like my life, Mike Kimmett. He said, "Man, what up, Mike? How you doing, man? Been a while, man, since you've been with us." He said Palestinians are not native to that land at all. Okay. I thought that they had some biblical claim. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. That's why I love my Outlaw family. Jesse Perry says facts, Ace. Mike said neither are the European Ashkenazi Jews. I don't know, Mike, if this is true, if their claims are true and legitimate, but I thought that there was some basis to why they were given support because they claimed some sort of rights to it. I thought, and once again, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. It's impossible to know everything. Jesse Perry said talented Negroes like W.E.B. Du Bois. Well, when you talk about W.E.B. Du Bois and where it goes wrong, and this is the black eye for black intellectuals, as well as the Divine Nine, in which you find out that he conspired with the United States government to keep black intellectuals away from Marcus Garvey. Right? So that's why the Divine Nine, and he was part of he's the first black man to ever get a PhD. And he was one of the only Negroes who was there to establish the NAACP. And you think about that. Like, how was it only a few dudes there to establish the NAACP? Well, W.E.B. Du Bois was one of them. Or Du Bois, however you put it.
It was by people.
But no, all black people ain't on that. We don't all sell each other out because we're intellectual. You got a lot. Once again, I reference Adam Clayton Powell all the time, and I keep telling y'all he's my favorite historical. People ask me who the greatest black man? I don't say Malcolm. I don't say Martin. I say Adam Clayton Powell. Adam Clayton Powell was a bad man. It's all about legislation. Now he's on some other shit. You know, he has some issues there. He like women and wine, right? We understand that. Little corruption here and there, allegedly. Let me catch my chat room. He said they groom our leaders. This is Jesse Parrish out in Denver, Colorado. He says FBA's Census of American Slaves, freedmen were the first stocks and bonds. He said sold on Wall Street. Jermaine Anderson down in Shreveport, Louisiana. He says we want the whole Shreveport, Louisiana City Council recalled. We need the young-minded people in those seats. Oh, shit, I feel sorry for y'all because we just found out only 2% of our 8th graders in MPS is proficient at math. I don't want them in charge of shit. My bad. God damn. Can't wait till the reading statistics come out. I don't want y'all. I'm going to be working till I'm 90. God damn it. He said we need to give our young men and women a chance in those seats. Our young men and women need to take their ass to school. You got a 50% truancy rate in a school system that has a $1.5 billion budget. You cheating yourself, giving your own power away. Tell me nothing about you don't want the white man's education. You can't read. How you know whose education it is? You can't read. Can't do no arithmetic. You failing us. Stop it. Said the officials is failing us. Yeah, I heard somebody growl. Somebody said, Kev, Uncle Tom. I love it because Dion already be like, Kev love white people. Dion be saying that on the show, like, Kev, I know you love white people. I be cracking up.
No, I don't.
You misquote me, so you misquote me.
You be feeling like slavery.
Right.
Like slavery didn't destroy us.
I think slavery destroyed a lot of shit, but I think slavery also was a long time ago. How fucking long does it take you to get over this shit?
You can't. That's why we.
No, you got to get over it. You don't have a choice.
How do you get over it when you can't get every time you start to make progress? You get sabotaged. Yeah?
So you feel like you still a slave, Anthony? I'm sorry, Ace. I don't want to say your government. You a slave? Cause hold on, and I'm asking you that because I saw you in South Dakota with a white girl. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Let's get it done. You're not a slave. I seen you in the 90s in South Dakota with a white girl. More than one. We was in a white town.
Okay, that's what I'm talking
You're not
about.
a slave.
America, period, man.
Okay.
We all slaves.
You ain't fucked up by slavery because you stop.
We all slaves.
Come on, man. I'm not no slave. I'm not no slave.
I'm not no slave.
You got a mortgage, right?
I'm not a slave. I'm in debt.
Got a mortgage,
I have
right?
debts, but I'm not a slave.
You have debt, correct. Guess what?
Right.
Guess what happens if you don't pay them?
Yeah, I fucking lose it. Shit, that's you pay like you weigh. Goddamn it. Guess what? If I ain't got no money, you know what? Hold on. I got weed too. If I ain't got no money, I can't get no more weed. What the fuck is the difference? You got to pay the cost to be the boss. What the fuck? We got food. We got food upstairs. If we don't got no money, we don't have no food. What's the difference?
Yeah.
But the history of slavery, the history of slavery affects us today. Yeah, true.
Correct.
We are further than we were in the 60s, the 50s, the 1800s. Yes, we are. But it's still invisible in mental, psychological, financial, judicial.
Come on, you a slave?
Economic.
Come on, you a slave?
It's still.
Come on, everybody out there in the crowd, everybody who's listening. Well, words mean something. You said everybody a slave who got a mortgage. You got a car note. You a slave.
On a plantation. We're not on the plantation. No,
well, that ain't the only thing that defines a slave.
You're a slave. Listen.
I mean, shit. That's just like saying Jim Crow never left. And
that's not the same thing. That's not the same. Me saying I'm not a slave. Me saying I'm not a slave is not the same thing as saying Jim Crow never left. It's not. It's two different things. It means something.
What we're saying is
words mean something.
The difference now from before. See, it used to be physical slavery, right? And now we got mental slavery. If you feel chained, if you feel like you can't do certain shit. You know what I mean? That means you chained. You feel like you can't go a certain place. That means you chained. That's how slavery was. But now they have it stuck in your head. You know how you got black people saying, well, if you a nigga, you get a certain amount of money, they gonna kill you. Or they ain't gonna let you get no money. Like, come on, man. We gotta stop thinking like that. And go for it. Or are you scared? Hold on. Let me finish talking. I'll let y'all do all this talking. Or are you scared? Or are you scared to get a certain amount of money because you feel like they're going to do something to you? In that case, you're a slave. You're thinking like a slave. All I'm saying, I ain't saying y'all in particular. I'm just saying if you're thinking like this is how your brain is chained. This is how your brain is enslaved by feeling like you can't do certain shit. You know what I mean? Like, so I know I'm not a slave. I don't feel mentally enslaved. I feel like I could do any goddamn thing. And I ain't scared to try.
I know some. I know some of y'all slaves. Hold on. I know some of y'all are slaves because I done been in Walmart with y'all. So I know some of y'all is slaves. I done been in the gas station with some of you niggas. I done been driving down the street and seen a car full of slaves ride past me. I done so I know. Yeah, some of y'all is still slaves.
I feel like people who are, if you content, you don't want to do no better. You stuck. You may be a slave.
You might be a slave.
That's not what I'm saying. I look at it like this, and God knows, because listen. I'm one of the very few of my friends. I done street folks, you know, couple 100,000 in a year. So no, I'm not no slave. You know, but I mean,
Nobody
I'm
said you were.
entrepreneur spirit.
He said he was because he got a mortgage. He said he's a slave.
No, but when I'm
don't you got a mortgage?
On, man.
Do you have a mortgage?
You a slave?
Do you have a mortgage?
Never mind.
Do you have one? I'm just asking, Ed. I'm just asking. You said because you said
I
it.
have a mortgage. Yes,
so you a slave? So you said you're a slave. Nobody else said you were. You said.
But what I'm saying is, what you missing the whole point of that, Kev. Okay. That's like, listen, we can pay this motherfucker off. And guess what? We still got to pay taxes on it, right? The minute we stop paying taxes, this motherfucker be paid off. Guess what? You can lose your property.
They'll take it.
That don't mean you a slave. That means by you living. That means you living by the laws of the land.
When you say that again,
that don't mean you a slave, cuz that means you living by the laws of the land. Wherever you live, like even traditionally back in a village or in you know what I mean, in Africa somewhere when your ancestors come from, it was laws of the land that you had to live by. You know what I mean? And right now it's just laws of the land. Fortunately, you can afford it.
Come on.
It's the laws. You got to pay taxes. You got a mortgage. You got to live in a house some motherfucking where. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do certain stuff. That don't mean you will slave.
Come on.
Because you can still get whatever you get. You can still go where you want to go.
I just want to put this in here, Kamar, and I'm with what you saying. I'll take it to a different level that you don't want to pay taxes, but you want your garbage picked up. You want street lights. You want paved streets. You want drinking water. You want to be able to shit and flush it down the toilet.
Man.
These things cost.
Everybody won't.
It costs.
It costs.
It costs. You have to pay to get these services. That's what tax is supposed to be. When they say no taxation without representation, meaning these politicians that we elect are supposed to serve to our best interest. So that's why you pay taxes. They don't just take taxes to pimp
and they don't serve our black best interest. Kevin,
they don't. I didn't say they did, but I'm saying
all our taxes go to Madison, Green Bay to help they shit. It don't help Milwaukee.
You telling me the taxes we pay don't keep the Department of Public Works going? You telling me that the property tax levy in the city of Milwaukee does not drive civil service in this city so you can have a garbage man come get your shit? Or you can have the police and the fire department and public schools.
You got those jobs. But look at the north side particularly, Kev.
What about
what I'm saying is it's taking taxes from black people, and they're not really representing black people. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Well, you're addressing you're addressing the representation part of it, which I agree with you to a certain point that there's some what they call it negligence in terms of public officials not really serving our best interest. Now that we can agree on, but I'm saying a majority of your taxes goes to civil service. When you pick up that phone, you and somebody done bust your wife in the head and shot your house up, you want the police to come. If the house is on fire, you want the fire department to come. That shit is not free. That is what taxes are supposed to be for. Now the problem comes when we see tax money getting fucked off and we're getting exploited. Now hold on, let me get the chat room, y'all, because we've been going. Let me get the chat room. Earl Henning is talking about the Divine Nine. He said they're educated gang members. What's wrong with gang members? You should get to know some. Some of them are actually good dudes. He said, what it do, Ace? Earl is speaking to Ace. Jesse said the Congressional Tether Caucus. He said, I told them no, too. He's talking about the Divine Nine. Earl Henning said, Kevin, Johnny Cochran say that. Not OJ. You right. You're right. Johnny Cochran said if it don't fit, it must have quit. My bad. Thank you. Thank y'all for keeping me on my toes. Jesse says, rest in peace to Irv Gotti. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. Most definitely.
Did he die?
Yeah, he passed. I know he had been having some. He had a stroke, and they said he was having some health things, and then they said he was back on life support. So I don't know. So I guess he passed. He said the code is the leader. Big Mike Kemet in the chat room. He said white people are not united at all. They never have been united. This is one of those false narratives, and we compare ourselves to them because to us, up to this point, that's why the delineation movement is great. Because we will no longer believe white ice is colder. We're not going to follow these narratives that they are so much better than us. Well, we have an inferiority complex. I don't say them people or those people. I say we, because I'm a foundational Black American as well. We have an inferiority complex. We've always looked at them as if they set the bar, when in reality, we are the bar setters. That's what I'm saying. Anything that they've ever come with, we've enhanced and improved it and innovated on it. They don't set any bar. The only bar that they set is within our own issues, our own insecurities, to say, oh, they're so much better than us. They are so not united. If you go around a bunch of poor people, have y'all never watched Cops? that might be a bad example, right? Go around some meth head poor white people. You're gonna be like, take me the fuck back to the hood. Imagine all the drama with no Italian beef sandwiches or no seasoning on the meat. Kamar, my bad, because I realized the other day I guess I did take a subliminal shot at vegans, and you pointed it out, and I thought about it while I watched that. I said, damn, I did kind of that. Well, but I be on some bullshit sometimes too. Right. He said, fuck Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Yes, sir. But they're not united. I want us to stop comparing. See, every time something happens in our community, the first thing we say is, white people don't do that. Who fucking cares if they don't do it? Who cares? Why is that our measuring stick? If these are the people who are the most corrupt and the most, what they call it, felonious, these are the conquerors who murder, kill, steal, and spread disease wherever they go. But we say what they do, we want to do. We measure ourselves by them. Jermaine Anderson said they cutting off the water to 3 apartment complexes in Shreveport, Louisiana next week. Property owners negligence. Michael Williams, Charles C. Patterson, the realest kid, Manson, Chase Louise. I don't know any of these people, my brother. I'm because we so far away from there. We so far. I'm just not. We're so far away. Oh, I got the man himself on the line. I got to bring him in. I got the man himself on the line. Hold on, Mike. It dropped. Come on back. Come back at me, man. I got to get this. I got to bring Mike in. It's been a while since we had Big Kim on here. OG, come on back, man. I missed it. I might have zigged when I should have zagged. Let me see. He said Jesse's agreeing with Mike. He said W.E.B. Du Bois was a tether. What's going on with my phone, y'all? Is the feds in my business? Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay, my phone is acting a little janky right now. Is anybody still on the line? Is the line even open? Okay. So my phone is, I don't know what's up with my phone, y'all. I don't know what's up. Y'all hit me back. Let me see. Sometimes it's hard for me to close this line out, y'all. I had to reset the whole joint. Let me reset that. Kamar, if Irv Gotti, because since he passed, what do you think his impact will be when we look back at hip hop? Okay, hold on. I got big homie.
Kev, what is, man?
Big homie, man. Long time no here. I thought you stopped messing with your boy, man. I'm like, damn, Mike don't like me no more, man. I'm like, what I do, man?
Hey, man, you know I love the Outlaws, man. I just been busy, brother.
It's all good. It's all good, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I was too busy typing. I can't type that much. As much as I want to say, I'm like, I'd be typing all night.
Right. Where you at on this thing?
I'm calling in, man.
I'm calling
in.
That's what's up.
And just like Kev, to kind of take off of what you were saying as far as white folks, I mean, it's interesting because they have no unity. Not at all. You know what I mean? The only thing that kind of, when I say that, man, what pushes white people, it's kind of like that, you know how you went to school and there was a brother, y'all couldn't get along, right? You know what I mean? And, y'all hated each other. But there was that one guy that y'all both hated. You know what I mean? And so in essence, when it boils down to it, I don't like you, you don't like me, but we hate this one guy, this one big old bully. Mm-hmm. And so what do, Kev? We come together.
That's right.
Right? And that's kind of what white folks do because they have such a deep-seated hatred for us as people, man. That's the thing about it. You know, they can do whatever they want to do, but when it comes to us, they like, get them niggas out the way. If it's one thing I don't like is them niggers. And the thing about that, when I say that, is people have to understand, man, you know, throughout Europe, white folks murdered each other. They just murdered each other. They were savagely killing each other, brother.
Right.
You know, all the movies with these Vikings and things of that nature, those are very real. Right. You know, the Romans were slaughtering people, man. Yeah. They went to war. Like when you watch them, how they fought, man, they were going to field a battle with 10,000 soldiers, 10,000 more, and they would just kill each other, you know, and just savagely kill each other, man. Russia fighting with this person, fighting with this country, you know, Germans, you know, it's just, they went to war, man. The Netherlands, I mean, these people were, when you study their history, they fight among each other. They do it today. You know, they hate each other. The European nations, and the one thing that we don't understand is that they never were classified as white until they finally decided to get strength in numbers by saying, guess what, we're all white now. Right. You know, Italians. You know, we just don't understand that they're fighting today. Like, look at them today, man. I look at it and I marvel at it because, you know, for the first time in history, I think you know this, you know, for the last 30, 40 years, they've been holding conferences because the white race has experienced a negative birth rate for the very first time in history, man. You know what I mean? And literally for every 3 whites that die, only 1 child is being born. And that is why there's so much discussion with what America will look like, you know, and how, you know, when they got out there talking about we need more white babies, when the Fox News guy got out there and was saying we need more babies, come on, we need more white babies. You know, they held conferences, man. So that's a fact. That's a fact. They've never been united because they fight like cats and dogs, man.
Well, they invented the whole caste system where there was peasants and who was royal, and like even in England they still got a king and a queen, right? Where so if you're not of high blood, you're not of. But I got to get your take on the FBA, the delineation movement, because we haven't chopped it up in a while. But I look at it as a positive thing. I think the delineation movement is needed, and some people say it's divisive, and some people say, because first of all, we understand if you're a part of it, that there's no hierarchical leadership. Tariq Nasheed is not the leader of foundational Black Americans. There's no clubhouse. There's no website. If you paying dues for somebody to say you're FBA, you getting scammed. So stop it. But I want to get your take on that whole thing, because I was speaking to us being now, since we are delineating and self-identifying, and we look at South Africa being assaulted by Trump. So they're saying, well, we are now at war against the diaspora as foundational Black Americans. So I want to get your take on that whole thing.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Kev. It's just the foundational Black, you know, Americans. I mean, I'm cool with the brother. I haven't invested a lot of time in it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because all I know is that we catching hell. I don't give a damn what you want to call us. You know what I mean? Foundational Black Americans,
okay.
Niggas,
right.
Negroes, African American. All I know is that we have a common enemy, and it's almost everywhere you look. And then we have an enemy within our own, man, because I look at us, and I was talking to some people, man, it was interesting because when you look at it, they've divided us so much that even as Black men are hated by everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a concern of mine. Before you can get to any foundation on anything, you have to first begin to, and it's cool to maybe it will bring us together, but you have to begin to look at how divided we are, man.
But okay, so if Puerto Ricans can be Puerto Ricans, if Haitians can be Haitians, if Jamaicans can be Jamaicans, if Mexicans can be Mexicans, if I'm 7 generations deep from the American South with no tethers in my bloodline, what is wrong with me identifying as a foundational Black America, which is a unique cultural identity that was basically created by the United States of America? So what's the issue?
Nothing wrong with it at all, because to fight against it would be crazy. I think oftentimes, man, we have to pick and choose our battles.
Okay.
You know, I really don't care, you know, what you want to be rooted in, as long as we understand that we have a job to do. You know what I mean? And that we're under attack. You know, it's like going to war. You want to call yourself FBA, you want to call yourself Moors, you want to call yourself Black. If we understand the commonality of where we're at today and what we need to do, brother, if we understand that, more than anything, because I think that we kind of lose sight. America is changing, kid.
Ooh.
You see it. Y'all know America changing like a mother sucker. And it's changing. And we're talking as if like, you know, we're going to pick it up. And if we just do this, man, the world is changing, brother. They're introducing all kind of different things. It's all kind of brand new, you know, it's this kind of virus. It's that kind of virus. They're giving you the blueprint, man. They're giving you the blueprint robotics. I told people years ago. I said and talked to students at UWM. I said, where's the world going? It's going towards robotics. They're telling you that we don't need you anymore. Hey, thank you for your work, but at Amazon, we're replacing you with robots now. You know what I mean? Thank you for your. I mean, the world is moving differently. So when you start to replace people with robots, Kev, what do you have? You are looking at an economy.
See, I think the changes that are coming kind of create the necessity to self-identify. I feel like if all these new changes come, then there needs to be a new level of understanding for us as Black Americans, because I say this all the time, and I don't know if people really understand what I mean. Black people only come from America. If you're from Nigeria, you're Nigerian. If you're in Europe, right? And I mean, and my daughter just was over there. She studied abroad, and she called me and she said, Dad, the revelation that I have is when I identify in a place and everybody looks like me, but they all say I'm Nigerian, I'm Kenyan, I'm from wherever they're from, I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican. And she says, well, I'm from America, and they say you're Black because we only come from America. So why not? Okay, but why not us now kick everybody who jumping on the back of the train when it's good and jumping off when it's bad? Why not let's just kick them off, period. I feel like us self-identifying requires for us to, like you just said, pay attention to us. I feel like it makes us focus on us.
Well, we have to care, but I would say this though too, is you know, what put us in this predicament? Tribalism put us in this predicament to begin with.
Okay.
Over in Africa, when you study what happened in Africa, them Negroes basically fell victim to tribalism.
Which was there before white people got there, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we were there, and so what happened was, what I'm saying is, but tribalism was there, and that was exploited. Europeans came in and said, "Oh, while they were busy, the Greeks coming into, you know, what they call Egypt, was actually Kemet.
Right.
When they came in there, you know, they came in there and they pretended like they wanted to learn. They did. And so we gave them the goods. You know, Kev, we get together, we tell them like, oh, you can do this podcast. Just imagine this. And we tell them how to do it. We tell them what you know, how to get on. And then they say, Mike, you know, that nigga Kev don't like you. And Mike over here with the Mike tribe, like, really? Yeah, Kev been saying some low down things about you. They came in and created division within Africa, man. It's like people don't understand, like when they fought Shaka Zulu, you know, look at what they did to Shaka Zulu and the Zulu tribe. Zulu tribe was whooping their ass with spears. How did they lose, though, Kev? They lost because they went to the so-called chief, the medicine man. You know what I mean? The way that Shaka Zulu them lost was they divided them and they began to give them. They sent white women in. They offered them money. And they told them, like, yo, riches. They said, like, yo, turn one against the other. And what did they do, Kev? They went back to Shaka Zulu them and said, listen, this is what they told them. If we burn our crops, we will defeat the Europeans. So they beat them. When you burn your crops, you're burning your food.
You're fucking yourself.
And they did it. Yeah. And they did it. So it's wholesale division. All I know is that when you go to Puerto Rico and you go to Cuba and you visit and you go to places like Hawaii and they got a certain lineage too, when you go to different places, man, all that separates us really in Jamaica is that it's a boat ride. Some were dropped off over here and some were dropped off over there.
But they are already delineated. They've already drawn it. They've already drawn a line in the sand and self-identified. If I go to the Puerto Rican community, they speak their own language. They deal with each other. The signage in their very community is written in their language. And I feel like the mistake we have made is allowing everybody else to delineate and not doing it ourselves and kind of welcoming everybody. Because like you said, and I love how you expressed it, we're quick because this is who we are. This is how good we are. We quick to say, hey, man, come on in. Come on in. For years, that's how we've been. Hey, man, we'll share our shit with y'all. And they've always taken it. They've always taken it. And then not only did they take it from us, they took credit for the creation of it afterwards. So for us to now say, no more of that shit. No more, okay? You want to be Puerto Rican? I'm a foundational Black American.
But and that's cool, Kev. But I would say this too. I'm not against it. I'm telling you, I'm not totally against it. Self-identity is fine. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But understand the historical nature of what they've done, because when you go to countries, oftentimes, like today, like in this country, you're not really seeing a true Black man and Black woman, a free Black man and Black woman thinking, man, you're looking at the system that has created Black people. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I said. They created us.
They created, but listen, when you go to Puerto Rico and you talk about Haitian, right? The Haitian and what they believe, a lot of that is indoctrination, because even when you go to these countries like Haiti, you see the same dynamic of light skin on top, dark skin on the bottom. You still have people over in Haiti, and you have French over in Haiti that go into these governments, and America did too. They go in and they play games, just like Mexico, and just like when you had Cuba, man, when Batista was ruling, that was American. The Americans created. Remember how the Americans, if you learn history,
the mob had
Hawaii. Yeah. Remember that the boat of Maine. Remember the blowing up where America blew up a actual American boat ship.
Lusitania.
And then blamed it on Spain, and then went to war with Spain in order to gain the rights into into Hawaii, into it was Puerto Rico, right, and Cuba. And so America did that. They killed their own under the premise of this was the Spaniards. And then they went in and they took over Cuba. And they began to indoctrinate Cuba. Cuba became very racist, man. Batista would have all kind of different racist things, black, big lip black Negroes and the Negroes. It was so corrupt. But that was America's doing, indoctrination, until Fidel Castro came in and fought. And then America got involved. Like, wait a minute.
He continued. He didn't break up that whole racial, like the Afro-Cubans versus he didn't do that either, though, under his rule.
No,
he just got rid of Americans.
No, that's not. But I would say, though, no, it began to change, man. Some of that began to change, but America still kept its people in there. They had people that were agitating, man, and over there, America has had their hands on Cuba forever.
Okay.
And when I say that, man, it's just, to me, Kev, you got to understand the world we live in. Just like when I heard y'all talking about, Palestinians. Palestinians are not natural to that land. That's Black land. There's no such thing as the Middle East, brother.
Well, I know that. Well, we know. But do they not stake some sort of historical biblical claim to the land?
They don't have a claim to it. They don't have.
But I'm saying they say they do, though. They say they do. They don't.
Okay. They don't. Kev, here's the problem with the claim that they make. You got to first, but get me to, just like when they did Kyrie the way they did it. Well, you should have looked at them. Who the hell are you to tell me what history dictates and tell me that you are the people that spoke about in that Bible? Here I am to present a book to you, Kev, right now. I found this book, right? And I found some book, and it's the gospel according to whatever, right? And I present the book to you, right? Well, of course, for those who have been on top for years and controlling the history and controlling the book,
it's in the hands of the victors. Yeah.
So what happens is, here is this book, right? And it's describing a people. How the hell did it become you? It became you after World War II. Because people have to understand something. When they were looking for the place to call Israel, right? Come on, let's be real about it.
Well, I'm laughing because I said this earlier about what happened post World War II in terms of the establishment of Israel, and even with Black people really fortifying the economy and putting America in the golden age of American economics was post Great Migration, post World War II, in which I'm just laughing because it was the same.
No, you good, because my thing, Kev, is that originally they was in Congo. They were trying to figure out where they were going to place Israel. But then you have Orthodox Jews who were like, European Jews who have been protesting them because they're saying that they never fulfilled all the tenets that was required to make it the state of Israel. It's premature. After World War II, they said, oh, it's us. That's us. Look in the Bible. But actually, no one fit the Bible more than us in America. You do know that, right? If you were to look at all the different tenets of people stolen out of their land, stolen from their land, placed in an unknown, placed in a land where they knew nothing, stripped of their religion, stripped of all their norms, stripped of everything, we fit the bill for that.
Well, that's why they say we're a lost tribe of Jews, though. There are a lot of people who say that. My dad used to tell me that all the time. Like,
And I was taught that.
Okay.
I was taught that. That's why, but I'm saying to you, the thing about that, this Haitian woman told me something in New York that was beautiful. She said the magic is in the believer's faith. And she made me sit down and think about what she's saying. She said the magic is in the believer's faith, Kev. What that means is that if you believe it enough, if I say it enough, you know what I mean?
It becomes true.
Here we are with a European people that were in Germany that adopted the religion of Judaism, and they beaten Kyrie up to death. And you sitting there, you talking about how these are the Jews from who told you that? They told you that.
They've been trying to beat up Minister Farrakhan for years because he calls out Jewish. He said the so-called Jew.
Because the Ethiopians, but what about the Ethiopians, the ones they call Colossians? They've been there forever. Practicing Hebrew. They've been practicing what they consider the Torah and all those things. So what we have is that we are victims to a belief system, just as we don't understand that those Arabs and those Palestinians, they are from the upper Mediterranean Peninsula, man. They're from Europe.
So once again, so it's the white man playing chess with the globe and utilizing his influence and his power. Like, because I think the most important point people have to understand is post-World War II, America was the big dog because we had just dropped a nuclear bomb. And we had just showed the rest of the world, hey, we'll make this shit happen. So people kind of backed down. And then, like I said, there wasn't a global economy then. The American auto industry just basically put us over the top. But that was reinforced by the influx of black labor from the South via the Great Migration. So
absolutely.
So post World War II is when a lot of these things that we have now came about and start to become defined, because like you said, there's no real such thing as the Middle East. This is something we were taught growing up to describe a region.
Right, but I say to people, like I teach my children, I talk to people at different schools, even colleges. My thing is that, see, the thing about that is that when people possess your mind, they give it, they turn around and tell you Middle East, and you think it's nothing but Northern Africa. But they tell you Middle East, and you like, well, what is that? This is the biblical place, the bedrock of civilization. And you say it to yourself, and then what they did was, in order to make the thing complete, they built the Suez Canal. That's a man-made ditch.
Right.
That's what separates Africa, so-called Africa, from the Middle East. They went in there and built it.
It's just like people talk about Africa like it's a country, not understanding that it's a continent. It's a continent, right? And so people say Africa, and it's like, wait, what part of Africa? That's why my brother told me, my guy, shout out to Westside Zeladon, he said, y'all black people laughing at us Latinos about this mass deportation. Y'all ass next. I said, where they gonna send us? He said, back to Africa. I said, dog, Africa is a continent. Where in Africa are they going to send us? So yeah, it's just that whole breakdown of it's a continent, y'all.
But you know, Kev, when you look at it, everything in America is like a brother told me one time, man, how does it feel to wake up and understand everything you've been taught was a lie? This is until we understand the lies in this country, man. We just believe so much, Kevin. We've been through that. I think the first thing with us is that, and I agree, this brother talked about this in a book that he had. I forgot the brother's name, man. He talked about the brainwashing of us as a people. It's the brainwashing, man. They've taught us to be what they want us to be, and we're actually embracing a lot of that, man. I mean, you gotta turn off the noise. I like what Kamar was talking about, like shit. Kamar, when you listen to Kamar speak, he's talking about governing himself, man. You know what I mean? Giving them back the ideas of who they think. They tell us who we are, and too many of us believe that shit.
We've had that conversation on here about everything you've been taught was a lie, because we even took the pyramid of nutrition. Kamar, you remember these shows when we talked about even that, where we grew up, that milk does a body good, right? And rice and grains. And we know now rice is horrible. We know now that milk is horrible. Cheese is horrible, right? pork the other white meat, right? Like and even in terms of history with social studies and the stuff you learned, and they sprinkled you with these little nuances about George Washington and the cherry tree and and Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves. And so you got taught all these inaccuracies. And once you achieve a certain level of understanding, you do have to go back and unlearn some of that stuff. Like you do. Like I still struggle with, well, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to drink milk. Like I'm sometimes, because I'll put some Cheerios in a bowl and put some milk. Like I'm not lactose intolerant, but I'll be like, well, this is not good for me. I grew up thinking, hey, drink your milk. Like that shit's gonna give you calcium, give your bones extra calcium. So there is a requirement for us to go back and unlearn certain things, but that's why I believe that supports us delineating and making this all about learning who we are. I just think we get too caught up in everybody else's bullshit. Like black people are like that homeboy who fight for everybody. No matter who jump you, you come get him.
Right.
He's gonna be like, let's go. He ain't like the one who say, man, I don't know, you ain't from this neighborhood. You better get your ass up out of here. Those are layman's terms. Now, y'all give me 1 second. Let me catch this chat room because I know I'm so far behind in it. Just give me a second, Mike. Adam, this is Jesse agreeing with me about Adam Clayton Powell. He said he was a beast. And so we talk about the talented 10th and the boule, and we talk about people want to discredit Martin Luther King because he was from an upper, class black family. Adam Clayton Powell, same thing. His father was the pastor of the biggest church in Harlem, New York, which was a cultural epicenter. What is Abyssinian Street Baptist Church? It was huge. The biggest congregation. He could have just lived a life of privilege. He made himself. He went to Washington and desegregated the actual floor, the House of Representatives.
Oh, he was deep.
He was. That's what I'm saying.
Dope.
Yeah, that's why I say that's when they ask me like, greatest black man, I'd be like, man, y'all better go and look this brother up. Now I know when you make that many enemies, what happened to him at the end of his life in terms of, them coming at him with certain things that we know all of them were doing in excess even more than him, but he still came back and got reelected, right? And then he said, my health bad, and he stepped down and he passed away. But y'all go do that research about that brother.
But what did the FBI say? We'll never let another nigga like Adam Clayton Powell sit in a political seat ever again. Right. And who do you see? There is no one.
Never been another one.
Never been another one. Whether man or woman, they all have been compromised to a degree. And that's why I said, man, like even what you were saying, but I'm going to tell you something, Kev. They had the audacity to talk to me a little bit. And I had some white folks that wanted me to come sit in on some things that they were doing, right? And the guy does his libertarian thing, and they invited me into a room. And I literally had to tell them how dumb they are. I sat in a room full of white folks, and I bring the white woman. He was like, I had a white woman fuming, but I had to tell her how mistaken you think that, see, the name of the game is that even if I'm spitting snuff tobacco and I'm on the backyard, I'm in a trailer park, I'm better than you niggas because you niggas got it through affirmative action. That's the way they think.
Ooh.
And so they're convinced that we are so much lower than them. And so I was in a room, man, it was funny, Kev, because I had to show white people, y'all don't know shit either. Y'all just as dumb and don't know shit either. And I had to break it down.
That is the greatest. That's the greatest point because I was having a discussion with a partner and he said, Kev, because I just talked about, I didn't really feel like DEI, the whole DEI movement post George Floyd, had really moved the needle forth for black people, foundational black Americans, as I think other groups benefited. And so this brother wanted to really hit me where it hurt, right? So he said, well, Kev, you think you'd have got to go to that white college if it wasn't for affirmative action? And I said, well, first of all, I didn't get a dime from the United Negro College Fund. And secondly, they didn't let me in because I was black. They let me in because I could play football. So fair exchange ain't no robbery. There was no, we're going to get, it was because we can utilize this dude to win. He can help us. So it was an equal exchange. So, and the job I have now, I'm not an affirmative action hire. I'm not a DEI hire. I'm there because I am qualified and have a very long resume of doing this work. So go ahead.
You see how deep it is, though, Kev?
Yeah.
That's why I said it's how deep it is, because once they brainwash us enough to make us believe certain things, man. And it's like funny, like and even within that room, I had to tell them white folks how ignorant they thought. We talked about the Somalian pirates, and they were in that room, of course. Well, they were just wrong. They're kidnapping ships, and they're wrong, and they're holding people for ransom and shit like that. I said, you're absolutely incorrect. I said the Somali pirates are actually the hero in the real movie. And, they were like, what the hell are you talking about? They're not the heroes. So they removed the Captain Jack and the Somalian pirates. We got to kill them and shoot them. They're jumping on ships and they're threatening white people, killing white people who are bringing ships across the ocean. I was like, you're a goddamn lie. The problem with the Somalian pirates is that fishing was their greatest thing. That was their thing. Fishing was what they built their living on. But what did America and China do? America decided they're going to dump. They said the ocean, it does not belong to you. And they begin to dump their toxic waste into their backyard in Somalia, in the ocean. So what happened, Kev? The fish were dying in radiation. The fish, they had babies coming out with 2 heads in Somalia. They talked about it. So they destroyed the fishing. They destroyed the whole fishing industry. So the pirates said, hey, shit, they made a move, ran up on a boat, got some millions. They said, well, this is the new wave for us now.
It's the new hustle.
You won't stop doing. And so they were sitting there like, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah. So I had them looking up. They looking it up. They're like,
it's the new crack, right?
because but I teach you to hate people. And this is the thing about it. We even hate ourselves. I teach us to hate. I can break down the whole thing of how we hate each other and how they've done a number on us. You know what I mean? I say to you this, kid. Like when I go to people and I talk to people, I was talking to young people. I was saying like, yo, who owns the majority of businesses within the black community, right? I said, what do you think the breakdown is between black men and black women? And you know what they were saying? Oh, black women probably own 70% of the businesses and black men own 30%. Then I had numbers like we own 10% as black men. I said, no, you're incorrect. Black men within the black community own 53% of the black businesses. Black women own 39%, and then the rest, the other 8%, is black men and black women together. So we have our hands in 62%. I think it's 62%, either 8% or 61. I think it is in 39. So it's 61%. We have our hands in it. And then of the verifiable businesses, which means like LLC, the ones that are just straight up verifiable, corporations and things of that nature, the number goes higher. It's 61% that they say that black men, own within the black community.
You know what? That narrative about the shiftlessness and the uselessness of black men is something else we've discussed. It's even we go back to black fathers.
Well, but it's deep,
even when we just think about the fact that on this show right now, between you, myself, and Kamar, all proactive, responsible, accountable, present fathers, right?
Right, absolutely.
And so, but you'll get, like you said, you'll get a lot of black women, because I've always joked about a black woman asking me one time, what do you tell your homeboys who don't take care of their kids? And I was like, I don't have no homeboys who don't take care of their kids.
I don't either. I don't either, brother.
Right. So, but the narrative out there is that we're all these shiftless, lazy, we can't, because and that's what the whole Trump energy is about, right? They want to try to put those stereotypes back on us, like, well,
But Kev, let me stop you, boss. It's not. I'm going to tell you this. That narrative has been part of the democratic process forever. When they came out and said, J.P. Morgan Chase said black women are the business owners, the creators, and they said we're going to give black women, we looking for opportunities for black women. They are the pioneers of black business. And that was a lie. It was actually.
But you don't think white Trump MAGAs don't push that same narrative that black men are lazy and shiftless? You don't believe they do that?
Well, I think they're all part of the same system, brother.
Okay.
I believe they believe in white supremacy.
Okay.
I believe they believe in white supremacy. When they start talking about the black woman being the backbone of the black community, that's unproven. That's a lie. And I've challenged them every day, every way I can, because my thing is, for years I've been saying this, Kev. They put out false numbers and statistics. They tell us that we're not fathers. We walk around and then we embody this ourselves, because I'm going to tell you something. When they did the J.P. Morgan Chase thing, there was a big event where black women were there. And black women stood up, and I looked at this event, and it was crazy because they were standing up. We need black men to get more business. They need to get on board like us. We're doing this, we're doing that. And then I had to break people down. I said, you don't understand how economics work. Black men actually out-earn black women. No slight against them, because the way they do us, Kev, is they play with our minds. And they do this on every level, even with racism. Another way they play with our minds, just look at this for a second. They tell us that black men, they say more black women go to college, and they put this narrative out there, right? They don't love black women. They have no respect for black women. But why do you keep putting that out there? So you say black women go to college more. Well, actually, every race. There are more women in college in every single race across the board.
That's a good thing. Trust me. As somebody who's been in college, it's a good thing that there's more women.
but Kev, here's the problem though, Kev. The problem with that is this, and I had to call people out on this, and I saw the difference when I began to look at it. I said, oh, nice game. So now you have women that say, and they put the narrative out there, more black men are, they're doing this and doing that. And so we pick that up as a community. Even brothers pick it up. Yeah, we got to get on our game, man. We ain't in college, and so they out earning us. I see Big Gip saying it. I see Dr. Umar. He was wrong.
Gosh,
he was wrong.
Come on, man. Somebody needs to tap Big Gip on the shoulder sometimes. In relation to the whole Trump thing, I heard Gip talk. I've always respected Gip, just hip hop wise, from the Goody Mob. But I heard him say some stuff leading up to Trump where I was just like, dude, now I can't even watch him anymore. I'm just like,
Gip is all over the map.
Yeah, but come on, man.
But let me make this point. I'm going to say to you this. My point is that the problem with how they mind pimp us, and that's our biggest problem, we have to begin to get rid of the brainwashing. We got to move forward, man. If we don't do anything, we got to learn the truth. If we keep living a lie within our community, we will never get better. I don't care if you call us foundational blacks, original blacks. I don't care if you call us comedic or more. It won't matter if you don't destroy the misinformation that's being pumped into your community. Like, and my thing was this, Kev. Do you know when you look at college and you say black with more education, they got more money, you equate that? That's a lie. Because what is it, Kev? Let me show you this. I got partners right now. I got a partner that's a plumber. He make about 110 grand a year. We forgetting about that, Kev, and that don't require you to go get a 4-year degree, does it?
No, there's some certifications involved, but it's not necessarily a 4-year degree.
What about my guy that makes $78,000 with FedEx? What about my guy that's an electrician right now that has his own electrician company, and his company is worth about $500,000? He been doing that for years, man. What about my guy Kente them? What about all the brothers I know? What about carpentry? What about mechanics, brother? What about barbers?
You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get no disagreement from me about.
That's why I said, but
the misleading of us. Like we're now. Kamar, you've been real quiet. Somebody said you being real patient. So I guess they think you're. If you got some input, I want you to jump in here because we're in the chat room saying Kamar being patient. It's like they ain't letting talk. Like, come on, people's champ.
Man, y'all know I'm gonna make myself heard if I feel like I gotta be heard. I'm good. I'm good.
I just want to make sure. Now I gotta look in the chat room. Jesse Parrish is saying James Brown let us know would pay the cost to be the boss, but James Brown also campaigned for Nixon, so he was the first Nelly and Snoop. So he was. I love James Brown, but he did campaign for Nixon. Joey Phillips, man, how you doing?
That almost cost him his career, didn't it?
It was over at that point, anyways. It was, it was that was, yeah. I mean, if you really study James Brown's career, after about 70, when he kept, people realized I ain't got to not let you pay me, like you can't let you not pay me, and not getting no writing credits, and musicians left and all this. And then James was trying to make disco in the late 80s. In the late 70s. It's hilarious. If you listen to some James Brown disco songs, the shit's hilarious. But you're right, Kamar. A lot of us looked at him campaigning for Nixon and said, that's that bullshit right there. Yeah. And
Snoop.
Yeah,
right. And Boosie Collins said we was laughing at his boots, and by this time we was laughing at how he was dressing and all. It just wasn't the same.
Well, Snoop had a debt to pay, brother. Trump pardoned Michael Harris. The original Harry O.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And so that was a power move, because what did Harry O do? He got out and essentially helped Snoop
get death row
Snoop
back.
Owns death row.
Or did Snoop help him get death row back? I feel like Snoop helped him. I feel like Snoop helped him.
Snoop owns death row now.
I know, but I'm saying I don't feel like Harry O, because Harry O was freed. He got out of jail way before. That was what 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, he got out, but Trump got let him out. And what happened with that? But Harry O came into play, and the thing about Harry O was there was a series of lawsuits, and they really, Harry O could have really pushed the needle on that, man. And so they got together and they was like, yo, listen, let's get ready to transfer this over. Let's get this going, And so he was instrumental in letting Harry O go, and that was a big thing. And Harry O backed Snoop. So I mean, literally, what you had is Snoop saying, hey, I owe you one. And, if you look at Snoop, he's performing, he wasn't smiling worth nothing. He was kind of like, let me just hurry and get this done.
I still, Snoop. I see, what's her name? Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
And Nelly was in the crowd, and she was performing, and she went to saying, fuck Nelly, and I don't like Nelly no more. And Nelly was in the crowd. He's looking real stupid. Listen, man, we had this debate, man. We went to the mattresses about this. If Snoop, whatever debt he owed, it's still in a way selling out the people, and I think Snoop looks worse because of what he had said prior to it. If he didn't have this video where he says, "Which one of you, Uncle Tom?"
He did it.
Right, so his looked worse, and Nelly's was like, well, it's just Nelly, because Nelly ain't really said nothing conscious in the first place. I don't even know what E-I-E-I-E-I-O means. Right, so we just okay, and Soulja Boy and Rick Ross, like it wasn't, that's what'd you say last Monday, Kamar? They get paid to entertain, so entertainers
get paid to entertain. You know what I mean? Who are we to really get mad at who paying? Because really that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you know what I mean? If that's what it is. But the thing is, if that's what it is, say that.
Okay.
That's it. You know what I mean? And we ain't going to look at you.
That's my thing like Kamar. Kamar do his thing, right? But if a Republican flew down and flew on in and said, listen, man, while they were there at the convention, they said, we need to get can you give me $20,000 worth of your stuff? Kamar, I really love that shit. I mean, that's a business transaction, man. Who's selling out, brother? Yeah. Who's selling out?
Well, now I wouldn't have a problem with Kamar selling them no tea unless I could pull up a video. Unless I could pull up a video of him 3 years prior saying, "Yeah, you Uncle Tom Jigaboo ass niggas." Like then it'd be like, "Well, Kamar, man, you playing yourself." Like I get the money.
No, he not.
I get the but. I mean, come on, man. Words mean something.
No, he ain't.
You are who you say you are.
Every day.
Oh, that's true.
We change our mind.
Now, also, too, if Kamar is transparent about it and he say, Kev, I know what I said, but them motherfuckers wrote me a $35,000 check. I say, I totally get it. But if Kamar come out and say, y'all niggas just hating on me, I say, no, Kamar, once again, you tone deaf.
And that's why I say, you know what I mean? Keep it transparent. You know what I mean? If that's what it is, just say that. And ain't nobody going to be mad at you.
Because we all understand that. A check is a check.
But my problem with that, man, is just, go ahead, brother.
Hey, Mike, I got a question because this is the question what I had last on the last rip too. You know what I mean? Like Snoop did that, and however you look at him, you know what I mean. You could say he the biggest coon ever that you could ever think of, but like I asked about his humanitarian efforts and all the stuff he do for the community out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, could people out there in the hood really cancel him? Like, no, we ain't fucking. No, my kids can't go to his football camp, but his kids really want to go there, and they ain't got many options. Like, could we really just be like, no, fuck him because of that?
I mean, my thing, I would never say fuck Snoop, man. My problem with us is that we're immature as hell, man. We silly. I'm just trying to figure out, like, yo, when in the hell is it, like, official that you can't say nothing to Trump? If Trump occupies that goddamn seat, if you told me tomorrow to go, we have a delegation, we're going to meet with Trump, my situation with Trump would be simply to say this: you come with a list of demands, man. He sits as long as he sits in that goddamn seat. This is the craziness with us. As long as he sits in that goddamn seat and we pay what we pay in terms of taxes and everything else and our blood, sweat, and tears, if we wanted to meet with him and tell him this is what we want, now if we go on our knees, then that's a different perspective. But my problem with that, Kev, is just this: why in the hell are we picking up the fight for everybody? The mother sucker hate everybody. I don't give a damn. He got problems with everybody, man. You know?
I love both of y'all like cook food, but I'm gonna have to say fuck Snoop and fuck Nelly, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. And fuck Rick Ross and Soldier Boy too, and Steve Harvey, because we gave Steve Harvey hell.
And you have that right.
And so here's my deal. Anytime when somebody tell you who they are, you have to believe them. And Trump is an pronounced racist, white supremacist. And I hear Kamara about the football stuff and the philanthropic efforts. But my question, that to me, it translates like this. If Step and Fetch It said, hey, I do Step and Fetch It, but y'all can play football for me, I'd find somewhere else for my son to play football. Once again, this is me. I'm speaking only from Kev perspective. I'm having tunnel vision right now. I don't think anybody who shows that they support someone who's against us, I don't believe you should go and dance for them. I don't believe you should go and rap for them. And I also believe Snoop is as financially, and this is me without understanding, I don't know his fiscal, you know what I mean, reporting, but I think he's well enough off to not have taken that check. Now, if there was a debt like you spoke of, which we will never know because we're not in that room, then that's different. But one of my biggest problems with Snoop was not that he did it, which I still disagree with. It was his response to it. It was playing us like we were wrong. It was telling us all we do is tear each other down. No, my brother, you literally have a video saying, I can't wait to roast one of you Uncle Tom Sambo ass niggas who's good. That's my issue. That you don't, Kamar just said it. Transparency is everything. See, you can do something to me. I think it hurts worse when you lie to me. Like my father used to always say, it ain't that you did it, it's that you lied about it. Like I got slapped a lot of times when I was little, not because of what I did. It's because I said I didn't do it and they knew I did it. Right? Like my pops would be like, I already know you did it. Just stop lying. And if I continue to say I didn't do it, smack. No, you did it. Say I did it, Pops. I made a mistake, or this is it. But don't come back and say, no, y'all just making difference between me and my big brother. No, you did this shit. So own up to it. So accountability, because we keep talking about accountability, right? So if we're never really going to be held accountable for our own behavior, then any and everything goes. So then that means my daughter can go and slide down the pole. And if I say, girl, what you doing? She said, Daddy, I got to get this money somehow. Instead of understanding, hold on, baby, I have a fundamental problem with you doing this. I have everything ain't good for everybody. And you shouldn't always do anything you can. That's predatory behavior. Like that becomes.
So Kev, how far did we go? So here's my point with us. We're very selective and they give us the people for us to hate. That's my problem. My problem is that I don't give a damn about who sits in that office. My thing is that what are we going to do? I watch through historical preference prefix. When you start looking at historical prefix, I start looking at it and I say to myself, what happened with those European Jews within America who felt like, the KKK was riding against them and the system was being constructed against them. And I look at them and I say, what did they do? They built power, brother. They built up power. What's wrong with us?
They delineated too. They self-identified as Jewish people.
We making videos every day talking shit about him, man. I don't give a damn because really he's not fighting a war against us. He's not fighting a war against us, man. That motherfucker sitting in that office right now is fighting a war. You're talking about the Bilderberg, the Trilateral Commission. You're talking about Europeans. America's not owned by Americans, brother. It's owned by people abroad that have investments. Right now, the Forbes list, right? Who owns Forbes, brother? Who owns Forbes?
I don't know who owns
the
Forbes.
Chinese do. The Chinese own Forbes.
Do they own it? I didn't know that.
The Chinese 100% ownership of Forbes. When you look at some of these places, you'll find that some of these corporations are owned by people way far overseas, brother. It's a bunch of them that's owned by people overseas.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I know. It's a global economy.
So what I'm saying is that they're at war. This is a global war for them. We can't even fathom the level of war that they're up against right now. They're fighting each other, man. This is not so much about black folk. Ain't nobody here to stump out us. He's fighting a global war. When you talk about Republicans, neocons, when you talk about Democrats, man, that is not some party that you part of in America. You ain't really part of the damn real party. The real party has been played overseas, the Saudis. It's people that are for real about this, man. The real party is those billionaires, those trillionaires. We sit around talking about how the richest man on earth is Elon Musk. You a goddamn lie. The richest people on earth are the Bilderbergs. You know who they are, man. Over in Europe, there were over trillion. They got over, like, what they say, like damn near 600 trillion.
Well, that was.
Do you understand
that was
you can't
what we
even
said
spend
Monday.
that kind of money?
That's what we said Monday.
That's that family.
That's what we were discussing Monday.
Yeah,
on Monday's
that's
show.
what I'm saying.
But we were talking about the fact that he hasn't directly come at us yet. That he was fighting there's other things, like he hasn't. And people were saying y'all next. People saying y'all next, and I'm like, what?
Man, listen, people can cut that shit out. We ain't even on the goddamn radar. The reality of it is, man, is that if you think that we do enough damage for our own to our own kind, you ain't got it. You can sit back and just let us self-destruct. Shit. You ain't got nothing to worry about. What are we a threat to the powers that be?
Not only that,
what are we a threat?
Hey, not only that, but niggas already following suit. Niggas already in line to what they want. We the biggest concern.
Yep.
What they gonna get rid of us for?
Hell no. Come on. We don't matter like that. We want to believe we matter. We want to belong to something. Like, let's go get Trump. Man, shut your ass up. You'll never get him.
Right.
Let's go get our shit together. Let's go make Outlaw Radio #1 in the country.
I can agree with that.
Let's go make Kamar's business #1 in the goddamn city state so he can franchise out. We won't do that shit. We won't make a commitment towards spending money collectively in our own community. We rather do this bullshit. And I see people online, DEI. Shut your ass up. DEI is DIE. It's dead. It's dead, brother.
Shout out to Beverly Williams. She had. I know she was calling for support. I did try to share the information in the People's News Network. She had a protest today, and it was saying it was time to protest against Trump. When I seen the video, it's just her. And, we rock with Beverly Williams. But the only reason I'm bringing that up, partially because I've been on some bullshit, but partially because Mike just said, we black people saying, let's go get Trump. Like, I don't really hear black people saying that. I hear most of us saying, hey, man, let's just be cool. Let's just sit back and watch this shit now. Tiarsha Arthur's in the chat room. She said the Klan leader and Elon Musk definitely have been seeing eye to eye, and they are clear people that are cutthroat against each other when it comes to business. Earl Henning said them people got a bug on your phone. Everybody's phone has a bug on it, right? Like
everybody's phone.
That's why I'm like, I'll be tripping off brothers like this ain't going on. It's like, dude, stop it. Like, they got microphones and cameras in places you don't even know they are. He said, facts, Mike, they have apathy, not empathy. He's Jesse Paris out in Denver's agreeing with you. Earl said the only part is we're supposed to be civilized nowadays. A said white people are fighting right now. I'm sure some white people out there in LA protesting with them. He said the FBA delineation is very needed. That's Ace Cooley. I believe so. And it's only part of one of many things we need to do, but I think it's a fundamental step in the right direction. Jesse said, all I know is our classification changes every 20 to 30 years. We're the only people that it happens to. So now we are defining ourselves. FBAs, descendants of American slaves and freemen. Tiarsha said Italians don't have European blood in them, but they do have African American blood in them. That's why I was confused why some of them don't care for African Americans. Well, I don't think they have African American blood in them. There's a story about the Moors invading Sicily. And saying that's why a lot of them are dark hued, but that in itself, the Moors are not African Americans. So that, words mean something. We got to be careful what we say. A said
Italians are white though, brother. They white.
Well, that is European, isn't it? That's
European, yes.
Okay.
The Catholic Church, the Romans. People don't get that. Get that straight. The Romans were Italians. That's the Catholic Church.
This is true. That is true. He said the brother just broke it down perfectly. He's talking about Mike. He said, shit, keeping it 100, America knew about the bombing of Pearl Harbor before it happened. They never said anything. They allowed it to get bombed because they needed the American people to get behind the war. It's just like the sinking of the Lusitania, in which they wagged the dog. He said, Mike is cooking. This is Jesse saying Big Mike is cooking. Let me see. I'm trying to catch this chat room up, y'all, because it's almost time for us to bounce. Give me a second. He says, Earl Henning says, they not like us. He said, but they want to be us. Shabak is tuning in saying, greetings from Sin City. Shabak is saying, core. The World War II brought the USA out of the Great Depression. He said, unlearn certain things. Like what? Well, I think we talked about that. He says Adam Clayton Powell got thrown out of Congress because he endorsed Black Power, amongst other things. There was some misappropriation of some funds. You know, Adam liked it. You know, he was a man's man. He liked a good drink and a good woman. You know, there's some issues with that. You know, he did some things he shouldn't have done. He's a player. I mean, you just got to know about him. If you listen at him and speak, if you see how he looked, he keep the faith, baby. That's what he was saying. Like, you know, he's a real smooth dude. He's a first DeBarge. That's what I call him. Shabaka said we must do for ourselves, fuck other groups. Ace says, cuz just cool. He paying attention. When I was talking about Kamar, he said, hey, man, Nelly go around the country doing state fairs. Nelly got to feed Ashanti. They having a baby with Ashanti, man. I'm just saying, I never put any merit on Nelly anyway, so it's easy for me to dismiss him. So was the check certified? Snoop a billionaire? What does he care? I mean, really? Is he a billionaire? Or is he 100 millionaire?
But shit, he got money.
He got more than me. Paper. He got more than me.
Goddamn right. I don't count his money.
Right. So
but can I say this, man, as we taper off? I just want us, man, like I tell people, man, my main thing, Kev, with us, and me and you talk, we've always talked about that. You know, my biggest thing is that we have to get rid of the illusions, man. We have to get rid of the lies that plague us. That's like I tell people, and I run through it. Like one of my biggest things is that white folks every time you look up, it's 100 million white people in America. How in the hell can you have a negative birth rate and for the last 30 years, you still at 100 million? White people are not, I'm telling you that I don't even believe they're the majority anymore here in America, because I tell people every day, the way that they brainwash us is simple. Kid, when it comes to census, you know, Middle Eastern, people from India also, Indians, Eastern Indians, along with Arabs and the rest, have to be classified as white in the census. They won't allow them to be anything else. They have to mark down white. I'm telling you that they're a dying breed. I'm telling you that I believe right now today, the minority is the majority in this country today. We just don't see it. I believe we are. I believe what they're fighting.
I don't think you got to travel too far, because the minorities are the majority in this city. Foundation of Black Americans make up 44% of this city.
I believe we are, man. And that's why I said, like, yo, we have to get over the whole thing of the ICE being coded. We have to give them back their licentiousness, their lies. We have to give them back all the bullshit, all the fake statistics. I'm still waiting on somebody. I still got the $10,000 challenge. When anyone can show me when we run around talking about 70% of the households are headed by Black women. That shit was made up. It was 70% of the babies were born out of wedlock, is what the statistics were. And we took that shit and we run around here now. 70%, 80% ain't got no fathers in the house.
That might come down to, if you don't really know statistics, you shouldn't be quoting them. And I tell people all the time, but when you say shit, understand where it comes from. Don't just throw it out there. Now let me catch these last two comments. Let me catch these last two comments. Ace is saying, are you saying fuck Ice Cube too? He stated he don't care. He was trying to offer up a contract for Black American to Biden. They told him to talk to them after the election. Punk ass Trump, of all people, met with him. Black people ripped him apart, and Cube is totally pro-Black. Once again, I don't think Cube performed for Trump, though. I think Cube wanted a conversation. He didn't say, I want to do a concert. So I understood what he was trying to do, but he also had extended that same offer to the Democrats, and they refused him. Ace is saying Mike is on his wavelength. He said he's saying the same shit. Jesse saying the richest people are the Rothschilds. And let me get down to this, y'all. Dion's back in the chat room. My phone dropped a call. He said, fuck Trump. Why would we go sit down and talk to someone who's not listening? Hey, man, I hear you. Shabaka said he's a diasporic African. There you go. I'm a foundational Black American. Welcome to America. I'm glad. Once again, what I think too, I said whatever you identify yourself as, it's cool with me. I'm not trying to change nobody. I'm not trying to turn you out. I don't got a clipboard saying sign up for FBA. I'm saying who I am. You could be whoever you want. You could be Nigerian. People say I send my DNA in and I'm part West African. Be all that you can be. I'm just saying who I am. She said, no, Kevin, it's a proven fact that Italians has African-American blood in them. I was taught this in high school and college. How can Italians have African-American blood? We're talking about Italians from the country of Italy.
Italy.
Right?
Yeah.
Italy. So how do Italians have African-American blood? That can anybody kind of help me out with this, or am I missing something here? Okay.
They have African blood, and I guess if you want to say by way of us being African, that's the only tie-in I can say. I mean, but the Italians, and even with Mussolini, them, you know, when the Aryan nation came into power and they came into play and started doing their thing, they said that shit. The Sicilians, if you were born in that region of Sicily, those are not considered to be, you know what I mean, the so-called white.
They look down upon Sicilians, right? The Italians,
yeah, they look down on them, and they said you cannot. It's blonde hair, blue eye. That was Hitler's movement, and it's things. If you are Aryan, you are considered Aryan. Everyone within Italy were considered Aryan, but those who are in the Sicilian area, those mixed with black blood, they were not welcomed into that. That was Mussolini thing too. When they dealt with Hitler, they all were one and done, man. That thing is like, yo, they describe what it is and what it was. They are not. They are, you know, when you look at the Roman Church, and you got to remember, people have a tendency to separate Italians from the Romans. That's like I told this Italian girl recently. I was telling her that, you know, y'all are considered to be the best liars on the planet. Because I told her I didn't believe her. I was like, yo, I said, y'all lie so much. My wife was right there when I told her that. I said, shit, y'all are the best liars. They consider to be the best liars on the planet, man. So yeah, they're not Black American. No way possible.
I don't know. Yeah. Dion says you can believe that BS if you want. That man stopped DEI and attacking the Department of Education, and he stopped funding HBCUs. I'm a little insensitive to HBCUs because I didn't go to one, and I tried to go to one, and they dissed me. They treated me like I was a white guy. I tried to go to Hampton. I really wanted to go to Hampton, y'all. This is a side note because it's after 10, so we got to get out. Because I was, you know, I've always been, you know, pro-black. I've always been like I wanted to be about my people. And initially coming out of high school, I wanted to go to either Central State or Hampton. Central State because it was one of the only HBCUs that was up north, right? But I wanted to go to Hampton in Virginia because I've always heard about Virginia being this beautiful place, and that's where we actually came into this country from. And there was always this discussion about there's some black people who are really empowered, blue blood black people out there. So I wanted to go to Hampton, and he dissed me. I talked to the coach, he dissed me. I just was like, dog, like, and it always hurt my feelings. So I would never watch A Different World. I will never buy no apparel. Like now when I hear that something happened to him, that ends the ski experiment. I'll be like, well, fuck HBCUs. And I know it's wrong, but I'm transparent, Kamar. That's all we ask for, right? Is just to be transparent.
You petty, man.
I know, man. I know. You know, the Lord's still working on me, man. He's still working on me. Mike, man, I'm so glad you came and kicked it with us tonight, man. It's been a while since you've been on here. You gotta not make it this. You gotta don't space out your visits, man. You gotta come on in with us, man.
Yeah, man, I'm here. It's all love, man. You know I love you and Kamar, man.
Yeah, like man.
Good food, brother. Y'all the real deal.
Yes, sir.
All day.
And it's reciprocal.
Okay, my brother.
All right, man. Kamar, you got anything you want to put up? Because you know this is Wednesday, so you know weekend is weekend. So you got something special coming up this weekend?
No, I ain't got nothing special, man. Just a house of vitality. Just a house of vitality. I'm gonna be there for the people. Come holler.
That's what's up. Hey, man, listen, I hope if anything you got out of this show, because, you know, I respect the layers of the conversation. I always welcome black men, especially foundational black men, to come in, especially if we're intellectual and we have in-depth understanding. I feel like, you know, the duty of the civilized man is to teach the uncivilized. But I want you to understand that this is not about telling someone what to do. It's just telling them to do something. Like we always say, we don't tell you what to think. We just tell you to think. Because a lot of times if we get you going down this rabbit hole, then next week you'll be back with some shit of your own to say, no, I just looked this shit up, man. I can't wait till they come back on because I'm gonna pop my shit. The issue here is that it does take a conversation to get movements started. And I know people say, you know, talk is cheap or whatever, but in terms of talking, we always say, don't just speak about the change, be about the change. Because if your criticism of your community outweighs your contribution to it, your ass is a coon. Peace and love, man. Y'all have a safe weekend. Keep your head on the swivel, man, especially in Milwaukee when you're going through them lights, man. Watch the intersections, man. Peace out, Kamar. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Dion. Shout out to Ace. Shout out to Shabaka. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to Tiarsha. Anybody who is listening, even you sneak listeners. Love y'all, man. See y'all Monday, man. Thank you.
Peace.